And we're live. Archie, welcome to the mobile studio, brother.
Cheers, lad. Thank you very much.
I was only chatting on a solo episode earlier today. I was explaining who I was getting on this evening, and I said it was a mate of mine who was a welder by trade. Is that right?
Yeah. Started off as welder, pipe fitter, welder.
Okay, when you say pipe fitter now.
So pipe fitter. So if you look at any dairies or any breweries or anything like that, so it's how you're getting water, any kind of products to and from tanks and into bottling machines and all that. So would have started off my apprenticeship doing that. So it would have been hand welding all the time. So it'd be TIG welding. So another way we spoke before about your MIG welder.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's TIG welding. It's a different process, but same theory. You know, you're welding a pipe, two pipes together. So pipe fitter then is just basically a person who fits pipe.
Okay, and one thing that I mentioned on the solo was that my understanding of what you did now is that you're off the tools, as the expression goes.
Yeah.
So you smile when I said that. You're glad to be off them, I take it.
Of course, yeah. Some days, not every day.
So if you're not physically welding, you're what, looking after a team of lads that are, or?
So over the last couple of years, I suppose, 2013, I came off the tools really, I suppose, then. But what I done is I went to England. I done a weld inspection course. So went over there for a week's course and just taught how to inspect welds. So I kind of went from there. Then moved in to really another job 2014, and then I'd say it was maybe April 2014 I was fully off the tools and just sort of went into more office orientated with the weld inspection. And then moved from there then as quality control. So again, what you're doing is walking other people's work. So not just the weld inspection, you're walking a full system. So when I say a system, it's like your grow house. So another way, you have the HVAC.
Yes,
that's a system.
Yeah.
So you walk that system. So all the pipes connected, all the cables, everything. So you walk all that, you quality check it, verify everything, sign it off, and hand it over.
Okay, and if you're checking everything and you're signing off everything, there's a liability end to you, is there?
Well, you're putting your name to it.
Okay. The same way an electrician would have half a dozen electricians working for him, and at the end of the day, he has to sign off on the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yes, you are the last name on it, but more than that, after your step, like, so we're the contractor, we sign off, we do job quality, hand it over to the client. The client then will have somebody else that will come in then to commission something. So again, they're going to verify your work, you know. So if there is a couple of things you missed or there's changes needed, they're caught at that stage. So yeah, you are kind of held liable, but in a way there is a safety net beyond you then as well. Like.
Yes. And are you working at the minute? Like, is that type of work going on within lockdown or?
Yeah. So construction never, it stopped maybe for a couple of weeks, but not so much. Like, so, like the last lockdown, they wrote it in that any foreign investment companies that are exporting are allowed to stay open. So the Intels, Wushis, all these big massive jobs in the country are still going.
Okay, and you're presumably working along those lines. Is it for a pharmaceutical or a chip manufacturer?
So I finished up in the pharma job up in Dundalk. So that's Wuxi, that's the Chinese pharmaceutical. So that's up and going now at the moment. So I moved away from there at the end of December. In January then I started in Intel then. So there's tool install, it's called, right? So basically the chips, how the chips are made. So again, you take anything, it's like a box. So it's a piece of equipment. It needs air, it needs water, it needs gases, all that kind of stuff. So we're in charge of piping stuff up to it, but also then making sure it's handed over correctly. So that's my job then, quality control.
So, but it's construction though, so presumably there's a maintenance factor to all these different places. Is that something that you do or have any interest in?
No. So the maintenance, so again, as I said to you, we get it to the stage of where it's been commissioned. During the commissioning stage, then they get it up and running. So we're not part of that process. Your maintenance then is obviously after that, then parts breaking down and all that. So the maintenance part it's only construction we're in. Like.
Okay, and are you working for let's say the pharmaceutical company before Christmas and then Intel now?
No,
or are you?
So basically I would have started off with subcontractors. So we'd actually be hired in by a company, say mostly the likes of Jacobs, a design company, right, that would come in, they would do the design, put the work out to tender. Different people price for it. We're a subcontractor, we come in, we complete the work. Work is done, gone. So our job is, it could be either 9 months or it could be 2 years. We just don't know. So it's always like the next job, where you go next, you know.
And where you are now, do you know how much security you have there? Is it 6 months or 10 years or?
Look, security is something not in construction, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like the Intel of the worlds, they could just pull the pin tomorrow morning and say, look, we're going to stop because of the worldwide pandemic, COVID is affecting sales or whatever. So they could just pull the pin. So you don't know, but there's probably 2 or 3 years work definitely at the moment in this place.
Okay, happy days.
Yeah.
And how have you found the move from being on the tools to off the tools? Like the managerial end of things is a completely different. It's a completely different world to welding, I'd imagine.
It's a different mindset. Well, your biggest thing is normally you just get up in the morning, go to work, clock in, clock out, go home.
Yes, do your night, do your bit.
That's it. But different than when you're thinking and you have to get something done. So the onus is on you to make sure that's completed. So that's a total different mindset then.
And how have you found that transition? Or did you know from an early age, or let's say shortly after your apprenticeship, or when you were only at welding and pipe fitting for a year or two, did you kind of know that management was what you wanted to get into, or did that happen organically, or what way did it come about?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It's something that I wasn't drawn to, but I was always kind of led to it. And any kind of firm I was with, so I've only worked with maybe 3 different companies in Ireland. So in every company I worked with, at some stage I was pushed towards that stage. And it was funny, there about a year and a half ago, I met a guy, Francie O'Shea. He would have been the owner of the first company I worked in when I was an apprentice down home in Limerick. And just get that across. So met him one day. It was pure random day. I was coming back from somewhere and stopped off at this petrol pumps, and there was these gang of people cycling. So I just went into the shop, obviously, and met Francie O'Shea, was his name, inside there. And was just chatting to him for about 10 or 15 minutes, you know, and he was just saying to me, oh, you're always destined. I knew you were always destined for that. And it was something that, when I worked with him and all that, it was never something he would have said to me or pulled me aside or anything like that. But he said, I always knew it in you. You'd always go for something like that.
Did you say just a minute ago that the different jobs that you were in, you were always kind of pushed towards the management end of things?
Yeah, it was kind of, so like his quality, I suppose, when I first started off, I suppose, as an apprentice, like I was maybe after 3 years, I was sent in to do orbital welding, it's called, right? So it's computerized welding of a pipe. So I got into that at a very early age, you know. So again, the likes of that, you have to be spot on 100% every time you do something, right? But over time then, that company started drawing me in and getting me into the paperwork side of things. So that's a big thing. If you can work on your tools and you can get the paperwork right, it's actually a very good thing, because it means then that you know what happens on the ground, and then you're actually good at getting the stuff handed over, because it's all about paperwork. Doesn't matter what you do nowadays, it's all about having the paperwork right to hand it over, you know, because everybody needs to have a piece of paper to say that it's right.
Yeah, it's gas you saying that, because even in what I do, or what I did before fucking lockdown, like, you know, growing plants and selling them, like, you know, what is there to it? Well, there's fucking food safety management plans for a start, and you know, you have to cross your T's and dot your I's, and you could probably get away with it to a degree if you didn't, until you get an inspection and you're just fucking closed down and put out of business. Yeah. So I suppose it's the same across
everywhere,
any industry, really.
I'd say you're getting more and more. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, as we notice in this country the last couple of years, like safety, everything is getting bigger and bigger, and it's all that kind of coming in line with say even Europe and CE stamp, and everything has to be stamped. Everything has to be right from the very start to the very end. So for me, kind of over the few years, so I worked with another company then, and again after maybe I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years, I pushed into the quality a little bit, so it was grand. And then 2013, as I said, I'd done the weld inspection course. Then moved at the end of 2013, went with another company, Lynch's up in Dublin, I left Lynch's, and I went to Sure, and I was only there maybe, I'd say 6 months, and then I was offered a role in quality. So I went from there, and I went from the guy in the ground into doing what I'm now doing, where it's just quality management.
I'd say that stands to you with the lads that you're kind of working over, because I know myself from previous experience, there was nothing worse than having a manager who'd never done what you were doing.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? Like
Yeah.
a manager who's never done the thing that the people he's managing are supposed to do.
Yeah, but I suppose one thing I kind of agree with is that you should never manage your own team. So if you play soccer with lads all through the time and then you actually go managing, you'll always have the few that are, oh yeah, what the hell does he know? He hasn't a clue, all that. You know, you'd have that. So it's easier for I'm finding now is to go in and, right, I don't need to be people's buddies. Right? I need to do my job.
Yes.
You know, I have friends outside of work. Let's keep it that way. But that's not me personally. Like, so for a couple of years I was fighting that, you know what I mean? Trying to not be a dick, because that's not in me. I can't do that. So it's kind of get that balance right, that you don't lose respect, keep the respect of people that you work with. So for me, I think not working with people, I worked through the ground. So the last company, I would have worked through the ground with the boys, went in, they all knew me, all buddy. Yeah, I'll be all right, don't worry about it, and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of is gone. You know, you need to, if you're moving up a little bit more, you need to go away from that a little bit.
Yes. It's funny you say that. I was chatting to a cousin of mine, Ollie McKeown. He's I think he's a sergeant major in the Irish Army.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just chatting about leadership, I suppose, in general, which is, you know, management, leadership. It's the same fucking thing. Like,
well, yeah.
But what, I can't remember how we ended up talking about it, but he said something that I thought was very interesting. I was asking him how much fear was there between you know, the manager position in the army and the lads under you, or, you know, did you want the lads to be kind of terrified of you, or did you want them to be friends with you? And he said that he had a succinct way of putting it now that I'm going to butcher, but it was something along the lines of, as your rank rises, the fear that you have to instill in your underlings, for want of a better term, goes down. So at the ground level, when you start in the army, you're going to have a drill sergeant who's going to fuck you over each fucking way that he possibly can, because if you need to go in and throw a grenade into a building, he needs to do what he's fucking told. End of story. But as you go up and you're over more people and you're over different types of groups of people, it's less whip and more carrot, if you know what I mean. I suppose I know it's not an exact comparison to you guys, but like the paperwork in pipe work and welding and that, and growing fucking microgreens in the mushroom tunnel in Castledown,
exactly.
There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah, of course, but a lot of things, you're dealing with the same thing. You have a client.
Yes.
So what's your client's expectation? They want to hand it over right first time. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to get a bag of shit that you're going to hand over. Oh yeah, there's whatever, you're giving them 300 pots or whatever it is, but there's 40 of them shit, but sure, look, we'll say that and I'll put them over. What's going to happen? They're going to get those, come back to you. Why are you handing over shite, you know? So it's about making sure that everything that you hand over to that client is good. Because why? Because you want them to order more.
Of course.
So it's the same thing. It's about reputation. You want to hand over something that's going to say, right, well, they actually done a great handover of that work or job. We want to hire them again.
Yes.
So it's the same thing.
There's a likability factor that comes into it as well, I think, though, because I know, and again, just from my own personal experience, I'd always produce a better product, whatever that was, whether it was a fucking email or something that I was making. It'd always be done to a higher standard if the manager was somebody that I liked and respected. Yeah.
Well, look, that's true life, right? So it's a matter of a guy. So we would have had supervisors over us throughout the day, and it's a matter of, there's one fella saying, listen lads, I need you to stay on tonight, has to be done, you'll stay on. There might be another fella that said the same thing and you're like, no, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And that's just respect.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
It's how you lead. So I'd done a UCD course there just for the last couple of months, and it's funny again, really, I suppose there's everything in life, like so like leading, how you lead and how you want to be a leader, and how you want people, as one good saying is that you're only a leader if there's people following you. You know?
Yes.
So like you can be barking away and saying this and that, if there's no one following you, like, so if you leave somebody, if you tell somebody you want them to do something and you go away and you come back to that person 2 days later and they still haven't it done, then you're not much of a leader then, because they're not buying into what you want to do. So you have a goal, like your goal that you had a team of lads over there when you were working, yeah, you had Padder and that.
Yeah, you had a couple of lads working with me, yeah.
You went away. When you went away, what happened?
Oh, the lads fucking did what had to be done.
They had the same. Your goal was to do this, this, and this, and they had the same. They bought into that.
Yes.
So it's like anything. Like I can go in and have these great ideas, or you could have these great ideas, and then you have to go in and do a certain section of that somewhere. You come back, and the rest has gone to bag of shit. Why? Because these people aren't going to give a shit. Clock in, clock out.
Yeah, get
so
paid.
No matter what kind of a leader you are, you need to make sure that there's people behind you that follow you and are doing the exact same thing you want.
You said there, no matter what kind of a leader you are.
Yeah.
What kind of a leader are you?
Good question. So that's something I'm still trying to find out, and I'm still trying to work at. So as I said, when I done this course, there was so many things that I thought I had to be. I thought I had to be like a little dictator. I thought I had to be stern, but you don't. You can get what you want out of people by being nice too. But again, there's a balance of being nice and too nice.
Yes.
Because the too nice, you're walked over.
Yes.
And that's the last thing. Because if you are getting walked over by somebody and they're, oh yeah, I'll get it done, and it's not done, then that drives me insane, you know. Like, it's a matter, you're saying it's going to be done, right? So, not bother, friend, I'll call back 2 days later. Oh, it's not done. Why isn't it done? Oh, this, and this. That drives any man insane.
Yeah, of course.
You know? And I said, why didn't you ring me a day ago? And I could have helped you out there. So that's the thing you don't want. You want people that'll follow you, but you want them to be their own little small bit of a leader in themselves. As I said, you two lads there, that you know if you go anywhere, if you're gone for 2 days, you're out for 2 days sick or whatever, it's done. You'll come back and everything's done.
Oh, without a doubt. Like, I had no worries down there
Yeah,
whatsoever. Like,
exactly.
Jesus, the lads were fucking fantastic.
And that's massive. Like, so again,
just stop.
How did you build that?
Well, I suppose there's a couple of elements to it. Number one, first and foremost, I hired mates of mine. Do you know that kind of way? So
yeah, but like, how many people have hired mates? And
that's very true.
Fucking nightmare.
Yeah, no,
like,
that is very true.
Like, you can give somebody an opportunity in life, and unless they're willing to grasp it, then you're at nothing. Like,
yeah, no, very much so.
Oh, 100%. Like, there's so many people, like, there'll be lads tell, oh, can you get me a job? Can you job? And I'd be like, I'd be very reluctant to give my name to somebody unless I thought that person was good, you know, because
yes.
You don't want your name, oh yeah, sure, he's useless. And there is fellas out there that will just come in and they don't give a shite. And it's hard. Especially for like you're running a business. I'm not running a business. So whatever about me, there is an end result, but there's a lot more tiers above me. But for you, you are the high tier and everything has to be done right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's funny now that you say it, because I never really, I suppose I don't know if I go as far as to say I didn't appreciate the lads, but I probably lost sight of, like, I certainly took leaving them to their own devices and everything getting done to a perfectly good standard. I definitely took that for granted. Because I reckon if I was in a different position and I wasn't able to hire mates of mine and I was getting blind strangers, like, you'd know all about it if you went off for like a day or two and you come back and nothing was fucking done. Like, do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
And especially in my line of business, because my what I do and what I promise, but my unique selling point to my customers is, I'm going to be in your yard every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock in the morning with 150 boxes, 52 weeks of the year, no exceptions. So if a week and a half previous, the lad I've hired, forgot to soak the seeds on the Monday and didn't soak them till the Tuesday, that means that the fucking stuff isn't ready on the Monday and it can't be delivered on the Tuesday. Exactly. And it's a balls. Like.
And you egg in your face.
Oh, absolutely. I've lost my unique selling point of the business. Exactly. So the guy just goes, oh, I didn't soak them yesterday, but I soaked them today. What's the big deal? Yeah. Jesus Christ, the big deal is your livelihood is hinged on my business doing what it's supposed to do.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's no different. Like, we all want to just create something that, as you said there, right, that you need people to be at a certain level, right? But how do you get the person to that level? Did you show the boys at a very, very small stage? So in the thing I learned the last couple of weeks about micromanaging, right? So it's something that if you micromanage somebody, right, it's a bad thing to do continuously because you get drawn into a small task, right? But for me, I believe if you micromanage certain things that you believe a structure, So if you have a structure where you have to do X, Y, and Z, right? So from steps 1 to 10 need to be done perfectly, right? And in your business, 100% that needs to be done. Because if you miss one of those components or one of those steps in 1 to 10, you're screwed, aren't you?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a matter of how did you teach those boys? Did you just say, right, this, and this, or did you actually go into fine detail on each one of those steps?
I suppose, again, I was lucky in a sense because the lads that I've had with me, like the two boys, Patter and Podge there, let's say at the start of last year now, and even the lads that I would have had before that, they very much, they learned on the job with me because I started from such a small starting point from like
Oh yeah,
nothing.
your
like.
story's class. Like I love listening to your story.
It's great.
Lad, fucking man, Joe Soap that went from nothing to where you've done. Like, and you're just unfortunate as well. Like, because remember I was at I made 2 visits. And within the 6 months, it was just incredible. What
Of the business in Castletown,
oh my
yeah.
God, it was incredible how it grew so quickly. Like, but like, I don't think you appreciate what you've done either. I don't like because it's like everything. It's like the lads that we were all mates. Or like we know each other pure randomly. Like so, it's amazing when you bump into people. Like and your story especially because like I don't know. I think it was after we were playing cards one night and we. We're walking home at maybe 2:30 in the morning, whatever it was, and we just stood outside the petrol pumps. We were just chatting for ages about things, right? But just I get fascinated about people, right? A massive thing about people and learning new things. It's like the lad Ivor that was on the podcast a couple of times, right? So just hearing things and just the stories is great. You know, you can actually just buy into what they're doing. But the likes of your story, right? It's a story that you could write a little book on. It's a little fairy tale. It's a little Disney like that. This boy coming from what happened. And all of a sudden you went up and you brought a business from nothing, from growing it out in the fucking tunnel out here, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the back garden, yeah.
And you brought it to a business that was just, I don't know how much your takeover was per annum or anything like that. But
well, there was 3 of us fully employed, 3 men fully employed. It started off in a 10-foot by 20-foot polytunnel in the back garden.
Again, like I know we're talking about me, but like, you look at leadership and management, right? And then I'll never forget the first time I was on about the lean. Remember we talked about lean as well?
Yeah.
But it was just funny the way you had certain setups. Then all of a sudden, right, I got a forklift in and that just transformed. But it's amazing that just one little piece of something can just transform things and actually make things better and quicker.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt, and it's been brilliant because, again, like as you were saying there a second ago, because I started from such a small acorn, say at the start, I was able to nearly double the size of what I was doing every 6 months. Do you know the kind of way? Like if I had started differently, if I had started with $100,000 loan and I employed 2 people, you know, on day one, and did it from there. If I had done it that way, then I would have had to micromanage whoever it was that was working for me and said, right, you need to do this, and then you need to do this, and then you need to do this, because if this isn't done, then you have to do that, and blah, 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 blah. And it would have been a big management fucking nightmare. But because I was bringing it from something so small, it was growing all the time. So the day somebody new started with me, 2 months later, they were helping me completely rebuild the grow room from scratch. So, you know, if you were there 6 months, it was as if you were there from the very beginning, because the very beginning kind of happened every other week, like, you know. And as you said, like getting the forklift, that was a fucking game changer.
Yeah, it was,
getting the fridge, that was a game changer. Doubling the size of the grow room, game changer. Getting the new premises down the road, game changer. All these different things completely, totally and utterly overhauled everything, basically. But in a great way. So in relation to me managing the lads, they were learning on the job like I was learning. We were literally making it up as we went along. And because I don't have a background in horticulture, I don't have a horticulture degree, I'd never ran a business before, and I was making it up as I went along, I'd be genuinely asking the lads for their input. Do you know that kind of way? It wasn't just piecemeal. Again, I wasn't trying to promote.
You involved them then.
So I had to.
Yeah, I know.
I fucking had to.
Again, they bought into it, didn't see? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can get people to buy into not alone your own thinking, but getting them a chance to actually change. Like, what way do you, like getting people to have an input to say, right, what way do you think? Right, what do you believe we can do here? Like that's a massive draw. And as you could see, like from the boys when I was down there, like, because there was a day I went down and 2 boys were building. It was before the
germination cells.
Do you know what I mean? And just 2 boys were plugging away. They had the idea. Do you know what I mean? And it's just they knew what they had to do and they were going to do it, you know.
Yeah, that was a perfect example actually of how the lads would work with themselves, because we were trying to get the seeds to germinate in a timely fashion, because summer and winter there was a bit of variance and there was a few bits and pieces. We'd fucking mold issues that haunted us for ages.
Yeah, Jesus, remember that actually. Like,
Oh, a year and a half.
that was horrific.
My
wasn't
fucking
it?
business was on knife edge for a
Wasn't it?
year and a half.
And then the pandemic hit, like, fuck
Two
me.
2 months. 2 months after I drew a line through mold problem,
Remember you?
COVID
yeah,
hit.
Remember you dumped? I was out there that day and you were dumping everything. Like.
The amount of stuff that I've had to dump because of mold, and then subsequently because of fucking COVID. Because the cunting thing about COVID is, and it's funny because when an announcement is made, right, all the restaurants are shut on Tuesday, say. But what about the stuff I've grown for next Thursday? And next Tuesday, and like I'd have always have 2 weeks kind of work, like kind of half ready ahead of myself, and I'm lucky because a lot of farmers would have maybe months worth of work done in advance. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
So I was dumping things when everything was closed down, but then when things open back up again, you have to open up 2 weeks early to get everything ready, and then they close it down again, and it's just there before Christmas when we opened up after the second lockdown. I lost nearly $3,000 for opening up. I would have been $3,000 the richer if I just fucking didn't bother me hole, basically. But if I don't bother me hole, my customers will go elsewhere, and then when the time comes that I do start things back up, they're already dealing with someone else.
Yeah.
See, you have to be in it, but like, look, that's just fucking.
Well,
that's
it's life
just
at the moment for you, really, isn't it? Like,
it is, but you see, this is the thing, and I've been meaning to do a solo on this. I've been threatening to do this. I've had this idea in my head for ages on one of the solos.
Which idea? You have millions.
I fucking know. Tell me about it, brother. Tell me about it.
When you went on there the other week, it's kind of like you were really focused on something. Then all of a sudden you went into a tangent. You're going to do this, and this, and my head was like, oh, it's going to blow up. How the fuck are you going to do all this shit?
Well, look, I have the rest of my life to do it,
you have. But like, in fairness, when you set yourself to a little idea, it's like this fucking. We should have a video of this place, this class altogether, this podcast room.
You're after reminding me. I'm gonna break podcast protocol here, and I'm gonna get out my phone and I'm gonna take the picture I told you I was gonna take. There we go. I have it now.
Big beetroot head I have, yeah. It's actually warm in here. I'm shocked it's warm. I thought I was gonna have winter woolies on when I came down here.
Yeah, well, the radiator's there. You see,
Man,
just for the benefit of the people at home, we're in the back of my van at the side of my house in the state of the art. Like this is the quirkiness of quirkiness. This is COVID safe mobile podcast studio, but I haven't sorted power yet, so there's an extension lead running out here.
All right. Yeah.
So I have a radiator plugged in here, and everything's fucking. It's 100% like
magic.
But the plan is obviously to get. I don't know either. I'm torn between a big battery bank and an inverter and a generator.
Like there again, actually throughout your podcast now. Again, like I've been listening to so much because it's great. Just say your first the lockdown where you done the everyday.
Yeah.
So there was one Tuesday. I just put on the podcast and I just called that the random Tuesday. That was because you just came up with something that was just mind blowing. I think it was about. So I was behind as I was telling you that time, but Christ.
Okay.
There was many gods, and there was many times you were saying about 12 apostles, another Christ. There were so many different gods with the same story throughout centuries.
Yeah, there's been so many prophets that have been born to the Virgin Mary, born on December 23rd, had 12 disciples, went round healing the sick and curing the blind and walking on water and turning water into wine, all that jazz.
For me, like, it's kind of, I didn't know any of that shit, so it's like, what? It's mind-blowing when you hear stuff like, again, I don't listen, like yourself, I wouldn't do the radio too much. Like, last couple of years, I wouldn't do too much, You're not listening to shite, You're not listening to people's opinions too much because there's a lot of dictatorship of people saying this and that. But for me, it was kind of listening to the podcast the last couple of months. There's things that I've learned is crazy. So, pure random shit, like.
But it's great, though, isn't it? Because, like, there's certain things, like, even that thing about Jesus, like, it depends on what kind of humor you're in when you're listening to it, but information like that can just blow your
blew my
mind. Like, do you know, kind of, it can really not even blow your mind, but it can blow apart your worldview.
Yeah, but if you look at it, though, right? So for me, I'm not a practicing Catholic or anything like that, but like, there was one God. Fair enough, there's other. But then all of a sudden, you were telling me that there was the same storyline in different centuries, all this kind of stuff. It's like, what the Do you know, and it's even remember the underwater. Remember the land that's underwater around here?
Yeah,
What's the name of that?
Atlantis.
Yes.
Hmm.
But even likes of that, I never even heard it. So I started Googling shit in after that,
Or Doggerland, is that what you're...
Doggerland,
Sorry,
that's the one,
Doggerland. But
Doggerland.
Atlantis is the same thing, like.
Yeah, but the Doggerland one was mad altogether when you threw up the pictures of the maps and all that kind of stuff as well, like. So
Why isn't this stuff taught in schools? Like, I mean,
yeah,
we've known
but sure,
about this stuff forever.
taught in
Like,
school, sure, if you think, well, it is actually now. I was always saying it for years and years. Mindfulness, like that, should be one thing that should be driven into kids. Like, but now, as you're saying, it is starting to be taught in schools now, which is very good. Like, I know the daughter, the last 2 years probably that they have brought the likes of that into school.
And when you say that, like, what have they done, or how have they brought it in?
So there's meditation. They're actually getting them to meditate and everything. So even like the homeschooling there, so it's second lockdown, they were doing it, meditating. So the daughter was telling me on the Friday that they're meditating at whatever time, and getting the kids to be mindful, like in ways that they're doing. Say, I suppose the biggest thing they're making them doing bullying and all that kind of stuff as well, making them mindful of what a bully is and how you bully people, and social media, like it's a big thing as well. So as a parent, like my kids she's going to be 12 this month and he's only 8, but like no one teaches you how to be a parent, and there's stuff through life that we never knew how to deal with when we were growing up, but how do we teach our kids properly? Like, and like mindfulness is the biggest thing. If I can teach my kids anything, it's mindfulness, it's breathing, it's meditation, any kind of those things that will actually help them throughout their life.
Now, I think I have a fairly good idea of what you're talking about, but can you flesh it out for 2 reasons? One, to make sure that we are actually talking about the same thing, and 2, just to fill in people who mightn't be sure what you mean by mindfulness, say, and meditation and breath and breathing and all that. Like, what is it to you?
Yeah, well, as I said to you earlier, I wouldn't be any expert in any one of them, but like over the last couple of years, I kind of dipped my toe into a couple of different things. But the meditation, just even actually, remember Gaz start off with Wim Hoff.
Past guest and friend of the show, Daniel Gavin, yeah.
So it's like the likes of that, right? So again, or even patterns, why do you do stuff? I noticed myself the last couple of weeks, I'm saying why as well. So they're little mindful things, So it's a matter of you're questioning yourself, you're aware of what's going on, like you were saying there, how many times you go over to the fridge and eat, blah, blah, blah. But then the why is making you aware. So there's a book I read, Eckhart Tolle, and it's living in the now, or
yes.
I shouldn't even say read. I listen. I don't really read books, but listening and just that awareness of now, like 2 of us are right here, right now. Nothing else in the world matter. Like, do you know what I mean? We're good, we're safe, we're fine. But it's the likes of the kids. Now, my young fella there, he would suffer bad with the worrying, the mind running away with itself. Can't lose. Just normal kid stuff,
Yeah.
But over the last couple of weeks and months, or even I suppose couple of years, he developed a little stutter, So what I'm saying, I'm probably going to have to beat track about my.
Go ahead.
Just
go
the
ahead.
likes of what he's done, right? So the stutter came in, and no, I indirectly didn't say anything to him, but I've been doing other stuff with him. But his mindfulness now, right, is when he gets the stutter, he now will go, right? So
okay, he just makes that sound with his mouth.
He's stuttering, he can't get the words out, but he'll go, and all of a sudden he'll start to talk.
It just resets him.
He's actually, so he's done that. So I asked him, who taught you that? Oh no, I just did it myself.
No way.
Yeah, and he's 8 years of age, so he knows that there's something wrong with why can't he get his words out, and he set a trigger in his mind to actually get him to talk. It's mad, like, and again, we can't do enough. For what I do with the kids is the breathing. The breathing is massive. The Wim Hof, right? Even the likes of that, right? So even my 8-year-old and 12-year-old, we'd lie in the bed and we do the Wim Hof, right? And I have this thing in Tibetan singing bowls, right? That if I'm going to bed at night, the music, so it's just soothing music when you go to sleep, right? So got the kids in that the last year, I'd say, been pushing it big time, and it's good, and they've grown because of it. And the likes of him there, he was scared of the dark for a while. We worked on that for a couple of weeks, just the breathing, got him to relax at night time, and then we sort of brought in a bit of music for him. And now he's not waking up during the middle of the night scared or nothing. The last, I think it's 11 nights. He's on 11-day streak he is at the moment.
Savage, and you put that down to the breathing, the Wim Hof.
Oh, breed. Well, yeah, but so again, as I said to you, right? So it's snippets of everything. Okay, so there's what's his name? Oh, there's this other monk as well, right? Um, can't think of the name of the book. Something Geelong. All right, I can't think of it on my
Don't
thing.
know.
But
Doesn't
there's
matter
some
anyway.
shit. But again, through him, another thing then as well, taking a snippet. That's what I'm saying. I taking snippets out of everything you learn, right? So it's like the podcast. You'll be hearing things. You take snippets from that. Books, listen to books. So I'm in the car maybe 2 hours a day. So over the last couple of years, I get audiobooks, listen to books going in. So you take little snips from everything. But as I'm saying, I'll be bringing it to the kids. They mightn't grasp onto everything. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you keep bringing little bits, and all of a sudden something will sit with them. It's like myself, or like you or yourself. You'll hear you could hear a full conversation, but you'll take one little snippet from that, and you'll run with that. And it's
Yes.
the same thing with me with information I'm getting from the audiobooks. I'll take one little snip because it suits me that day.
Yes.
I'll run with that. So with Aaron now the last couple of weeks, months, really, like keep on to him about different things, and he's just taking his own little things and he's doing his own little mindful choices. The daughter then would be very good. She's Wim Hof. She will go into the bed and she will do her Wim Hof every night and do the breathing. And it's good. We even done the cold showers during the Christmas period as well.
Savage.
Just a bit of a buzz and a bit of crack. And again, like, that's something that, it's not as if my parents never taught me how to be mindful or anything like that, but it's in this world that we're living in now. It's getting more and more and more, you know. Like, as I was saying to you earlier on, even on the news today, I was hearing some woman that just was a bit of she used to do yoga, then she'd done a course, a yoga course. Now all of a sudden she's got her own well-being and all that, and she was over on 92 FM and promoting her online course and all that kind of stuff now as well, and she does retreats and everything. So mindfulness is just everywhere, and awareness is everywhere now over the last couple of years.
Well,
And
no,
it's only going to get more and more.
I couldn't agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more. And I'm delighted to hear you say that. Like when I asked, was it Wim Hof that cured the young lad's bit of a stutter? I fell into a trap that I think a lot of people fall into, and it's the silver bullet.
Mm.
Do you know, they want a cure.
No,
So it's
yeah.
like, so basically what you're saying is, Archie, Wim Hof cured your
Yeah.
kid's fucking stutter. And
Yeah.
it's like, no.
No.
And it's I think it's very, very rare that something does cure something. It's always
Yeah, it's
a kind of a bit of
low.
everything.
With Aaron, again, when he was young, so in 2013, he got eczema, you know, so he was only maybe 4 months, so he had eczema. Fuck me, I went through every cream in the world.
It's a dry skin thing, is it? Yeah.
Eczema. So his body was 90% covered in, it was like a boiling kettle, was spilt over him when he was 4 months old, and he was
Fuck.
just destroyed. So,
And that all came all of a sudden when he was 13.
No, when he was 4 months old.
Oh,
In
sorry.
2013, sorry. Yeah, in 2013 it was.
Ah, okay, there we go.
Yeah, so just about a little bit of everything. Like, so in the end, there was a cream that I got that actually did cure it, but it was part of a lot of creams that went
Yes.
into. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just one given thing, but there was people getting on to me because they knew Aaron had it. Oh, what cream did you use? And I said, look, I used this, this, and this. Yeah, but which one? It's like, well, I used that for this month. Do you know what I mean? You keep continuously doing it. So whether it was 2 or 3 creams that actually got it to the stage where there was 15%. Now there was the stuff. Do you ever believe in coincidences? No.
Well, we were only talking about coincidences there before the podcast. Define coincidences.
Right. So another. Well, in 2013, right. So the last book I read was called The Secret, right, in 2013, Law of Attraction, right. So there was a lot on to it. Happened. No, sorry, in 2013, I'm wrong. So in 2013, a fella told me about it, right. So it was on about I should get this book because whatever, he thinks it'd be good for me. So I moved job, and as I said, when I moved job, I was on the bus going in now to work, right. So in Law of Attraction is about drawing in, it's about believing what you want, you have it already, right. So I just kept saying, oh, Aaron's going to cure of the eczema, right. That's all, because it was just like the eczema was there from 2013 to maybe the end of 2014, but it was maybe April 2014, or no, it was May 2014, I found this cream that did really work, I suppose. And it was just a pure coincidence. So in 2013, a fella told me about this stuff that was up in Monaghan. It was called The Cure, right? So it was a woman made it. It wasn't any pharmaceutical or anything like that, right? So this did bring it down, right? So, like as I said, it was 90%, 85% of his body was fully
covered in eczema, yeah.
So this guy was telling me about this stuff he put on. It's like tar. So his wife actually got cancer. So I never pushed him to tell me where he got it, so I left anyway. So always talked about this cream was going to be the cure. So in 2014 then I started reading the Law of Attraction, The Secret, right? So it's about pulling in, saying that you're going to believe that you're going to find it. So I was like that for a couple of months. Sorry. And then in 2014, May, I was inside getting my hair cut inside in town, inside in Fairgreen. And I was going in to get another cream inside in town. There was in the health shop inside there was another cream somebody had told me about. So I was just telling you on the bar, going into the health shop inside to get this cream. And she said, why don't you just try the pharmacy across the road? Do you know, crossing the Fairgreen?
Yeah, on the corner there.
Yeah, so I just, all right, yeah, perfect, sure. I would never have went in there. So I walked in anyway, so I went in and I said to your man, looking for this cream. My son has bad eczema. And she says, did you ever hear about the woman up in Monaghan?
This is the pharmacist said this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I says, do you want the cure? Yeah, there's a woman up in Monaghan. I says, I've been looking for her for years. A fella told me about it, or for a year. A fella had told me about it, but I never got the number or nothing. So that day, she gave me the number. So within the 2 weeks, then I got that stuff, and it did. Now, in fairness, it brought it down, it healed it so well, but it never cured it totally.
So sorry, just to be clear, this woman you met in Monaghan gave you a cream to bring home to give to your kid.
Yeah, it was. I went up like you drove up to the back of nowhere, like. So I asked her, says, "What's in it?" She says, "The cure." I says, "What's in it?" The cure. Right.
Sorry, just thinking of the list of ingredients,
Yeah,
the cure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was a pot, and it smelled like ash.
Okay.
Right. So she says to me, you need to go home, paint it all over his body, and you're going to have to burn the clothes afterwards. And I was like, oh, is that like a ritual thing? Oh, no, she said, they'll just be destroyed.
Phew!
It's tar. It was like tar, painting tar onto your son. So that did bring it from the 90% down to maybe 15-20%. And there was other creams then that helped it to bring it to eliminate nearly altogether. Like, still a little bits there, but it's just, sorry, I ranted there, but like, it was
by all means,
coincidence of that random thing. But again, that law of attraction, I was saying, like, that if you put it out there, it'll come back in, that vibes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what you put out there, you'll get back.
Yes,
I believe in.
Oh, look, I'm inclined to agree with you, but I think, now I haven't read the Secret book. I suppose a complaint that I would have from hearing other people talk about it is that once you do that, that's all you need to do.
No, yeah, no.
I think a lot of the time people read that book and are left with a feeling that very much
it's like everything, right? So it's like everything. You have to keep working on it. Like, as I said to you, like, my mind would be wandering like fucking 90 and negativity coming in left, right and centre at times. Or even this weekend, it was just a cloud hanging over me for most of Saturday and all day Sunday and maybe up to 10 o'clock today. And just whatever it was, I needed to keep at and just try to shake it off and just work it off. Like, and just, again, you're just thinking negative shite, you know what I mean? There's either stuff getting into your head that you want to get done. So then all of a sudden, procrastination, as we always said, like that, something people suffer big time from, and I'm massively from that. It's just letting it build, and then it's fucking just on top of you then, like, and it's like that in life then as well, like, everything gets on top of you, like.
Oh, without a doubt, things that are just minor little things become huge big things, and there's 20 of them, and you can't see the wood from the trees, and then the walls cave in, and
exactly.
Then, because unknowns to yourself, because you've been so down for the last month, she thinks that there's a fucking problem, and she thinks that you're a fucking prick.
If she goes down with you as well, you're bollocks altogether.
Oh, just stop.
An awful cloud around the place.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But I think the biggest part of awareness or mindfulness, to me at least, is just being aware, just even noticing, like, fuck, I've been in a fucking piss of humour for the last 10 hours or week.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, it, as I said, like, I'm 43 years of age, right? So since, fair enough, the law of attraction, The Secret, I was introduced 2014, but maybe from 2016 I've really gotten into learning more about the mindfulness, right? So as I said, I take snippets from everything, you know, like I'm a master of nothing, which is in a way a bad thing. Like I'd love to just, and I have to do it, I think just do it, is meditation. I really want to get into a state where I can actually stay in meditation for 20 minutes, 30 minutes and just be there. Now again, what is 20 minutes or 30 minutes of meditation? I'm not too sure either, but that's where I'd like to get to a little zone like that, because even when you lie still in bed and you try to just relax totally, it's just stuff flying into your head. It's like a busy road. Vroom, vroom. And as I say, then what happens? You just grab onto one of them and you're going away for the ride.
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden that ride is thinking this, and this. And sure, before you know it, you're in a load of shite, but you haven't even left your bed.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So you just get caught up with one of those thoughts and you ride away with it instead of just sitting back and just observing. There's a Headspace. Do you ever see that app?
Yeah.
So it just has a lovely little cartoon of just being on a busy road and
It's a great analogy, actually.
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah. You love that word, analogy.
I do.
Yeah.
And my little sayings.
the other words you love as well.
Oh no, here we go.
No, this is fucking hilarious, because I've been listening to you fucking I know long, but there was another, a lad came on the phone to me only 2 weeks ago and he used the same word. And I just must have laughed for about 5 minutes on the phone, lad. And he hadn't the fucking foggy Jew what I was on about, lad. Digress, is it? Or
Digress.
oh, Jesus Christ. The amount of fucking times you said that. Or rabbit hole is
I
the
do
other one.
digress a lot,
Oh
to be
my
fucking
God,
fair.
will you stop? The amount of rabbit holes you go down and you digress back up. But your man said it anyway. I digress. And I just paced myself, lad. It was fucking hilarious. It was so funny, lad. So where were we?
No, you're talking about mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah, so again, so that
and-
busy road, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and just getting caught up in that busy road, you know, and trying to get across this busy road instead of just sitting, waiting, and just let it fly by.
Well, in keeping with the busy road, there's a guy I'm a big fan of, Sam Harris, and if I have this right, he would say that the goal of not the goal of meditation, but how you, I suppose, get better at meditation is, again, in keeping with the whole road analogy thing, is so when you're in your meditative state, or you're trying to be in your meditative state, you're sitting beside, let's say, this road and there's cars going by. What Harris would recommend you do is observe the cars as they pass and let them go.
Yeah.
The idea being that if you keep doing that the road will get progressively busier. And the goal of meditation, if there even is a goal of meditation, is to, at the very least, reduce the amount of traffic on the road, ideally to the point whereby there's no traffic and there's just peace, I suppose. But from a more strictly kind of scientific viewpoint, I think it's good to just let the brain wind down every so often.
100%.
Because
Yeah.
I find, and I think that there'll be a bit of crossover here between me and you, I feel as though my brain operates at, you know, high revs, basically, and from the second that my eyes open in the morning, bzzz, the brain is just humming along, and I find that I have to feed that in order to stay sane, because if I'm not feeding that with different rabbit holes or interesting people or different Wikipedia pages, I internalize it and I start ruminating and I start going over and over the same things all the time, and it all gets negative and you get into that positive feedback loop. And if I find that if I sit still, I tend to kind of eat myself alive. But the idea of meditation is just to get comfortable with that and to not let it override you, I suppose. Now, I say that as a man who doesn't meditate.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but
You
again, but this is the thing, right? And it's the interpretation of what meditation is like. Do you know what is meditation? That's what I'm saying. Like, unless somebody can show you a video of meditation, what is meditation? You know, because like you're reading a book, you're listening to audios, you're listening to or whatever, like, and it's their interpretation of what meditation is, and they're telling you how to do it and where to get it. But until you actually experience it, like what is, like we can be quiet in mind, which again, my theory, did we talk about it before? Like you hear the monks, the way they can go into meditation for days and days.
Yes.
But what are they doing in those? What is going on?
I don't think anything's going on,
Yeah, that's what
but I think that's the goal.
yeah, I
think
know,
it's
but that's what I'm saying. So what is the goal? Like, you know, is the goal is you just, what's that guy's name? Sam Harris?
Sam Harris, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to see if he's an audiobook and start listening.
Oh, he does. He
Yeah.
has his own. He is the equivalent of Headspace. He has his own guided
Oh.
meditation app. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
there-
he's huge into it. His missus actually might even be more interested in Annika Harris, I think her name is, and her shtick is meditation and mindfulness for children.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like your man, do you know Brezzy, do you?
Yes,
Yeah, he's done. He wrote little books as well.
for kids.
Yeah,
about
very
mindfulness
good.
and that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He suffered with suicidal
I don't know.
thoughts
See, yeah,
and the like, didn't
again,
he?
it was just. I was speaking to a girl before Christmas, and I was just saying about the young fella, and she was saying, "Oh, do you know about Bracey's books? You know." So again, as I said, we got one of the books, like, and it's like everything. You give him little snippets, and if the child takes it, just give him enough. Give them enough information that they can take a few little snips of something and let them work themselves. Because one thing's for sure, it's very hard to teach your kid where they're meant to follow you in your ways, right? So that's what I'm saying. I need to be, like we all say, we're going to be super fit, we're going to exercise, our kids are going to follow us that way. But sure, we don't exercise the way we should. Well, I don't, anyway. I don't know about you.
Well, I do. One thing that I do is train.
Yeah,
but again,
you do you train in front of your kids? Do your kids see you train?
well, my kids would be very familiar with the
Yeah.
idea of me heading out the door for a run and not
Yeah.
coming back for an hour. That would be literally a daily thing.
Yeah,
Like,
so like-
Knuckles, buddy, I'm gone running, and
Yeah.
I'm gone out the door.
But it just, if they see you practicing something continuously, I believe that they would actually, or you practice stuff with them. Now again, don't pick me up in any other way that I'm not doing this fucking 24/7 with my kids. I'm not. I give them little snippets. If I'm busy, I'm not doing anything with them or whatever. But anytime I can, it's just to give them tiny little snippets that I could only imagine if I was learning the few bits and pieces at 8 years of age that I'm teaching my young lad, that fuck me, would definitely be a different person to where I am today, you know.
Oh, without a doubt,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Like, it would so help you so much.
But we're treading on an interesting point here, I think, because my understanding of it is your kids will learn from what you do far more than from what you say. So I heard it put before, I thought it was very well put, that if you're telling your kids to, let's say, be mindful and and to do meditation and all the rest of it, if that's not what you're doing, all you're doing is confusing them.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Like, and I think another thing something that I'm only after realising myself of late is that I have to forgive myself at times for trying to be to Fionn, who's my 6-year-old son. I do try and be to him what I wanted from my dad when I was 6.
Yeah,
but Fionn is in me when I was 6.
But that's something actually that you said that your dad died when you were 13. My dad died when I was 13, right? So it's something you had it's one of your earlier podcasts. And just the way, do you ever ask, would you be who you are today if your dad was alive and had brought you through your teenage years?
Oh God, no, there's no way I could possibly be the same.
Do you know what I mean? So
what you're saying, it was a good thing?
no,
I'm only
like,
taking the piss, of course, of course.
Because I remember my uncle, like, said, I met him once, and he said something about that there was uncles and cousins there, you know, and it was saying all about how the cousin was like their father. It was like there was a break, and it was like, yeah, but you're different here. You didn't grow up with your father, kind of thing.
Yes.
Now, my dad would have been sick for about maybe 7 years, so he had a tumour.
Okay.
So it would have been an earlier age that he would have been, say, a couple of operations, 3 operations, something. So it would have been earlier, so maybe 13, he might have died. Do you know, actually, there's a mental block, actually. And I actually got over this mental block. I was 14 when he died.
Okay.
I always thought I was 13. Don't know why. It was only about two years ago I actually realised I was actually 14.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Totally crazy. Totally crazy. Total mind block. So I wasn't. I was 14. I'm wrong. So, but he was for the 7 years, and like he would have been sick, and like, so there was a lot of that, like where I had to grow up at a very early age. But I don't see myself as a grown up person even now. Like I wouldn't sense myself as being a mature person. Like, and do you know what? I like the fact I'm not fucking mature. I'm silly. I do stupid things at times.
Is that not a part of maturity though? Like to be, like I wouldn't see somebody who is straight laced and never has the crack and never does anything silly. I wouldn't view that person or that type of person as being a particularly mature person.
Right,
I just see them as a, I don't know, boring maybe. but you know what I mean? Like no, I call someone like that no crack. I wouldn't say that they were mature.
Yeah.
Somebody that's mature to me is somebody that's, I suppose, is wise, for want of a better term. You know, they've lived their life and they've made mistakes and they can laugh at themselves, and that to me is maturity. That they've grown and changed.
I would have had a different view on that now, but that's interesting.
So you would have seen kind of authoritarian figures or stern figures as being mature.
Yeah.
That's a bit corrupted though, is it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So again, like, I'm very kind of open-minded. Like, if I'm going to learn, as I say to my kids, and every day is a school day.
Yes.
Every day you need to learn something. If you didn't learn anything yesterday, it's because you weren't listening.
Yes.
So that means that, like, a friend of mine always laughs. He'd be on about politics. Oh, I don't give a fuck about politics right now. I don't care. I just would say the opposite to just annoy people. But he'd always laugh, you know. He'd say, right, okay, you need to nail the head. So, and I say, all right, so Fine Gael. He'll come back to me 2 hours later and somebody else would said something and I'll just change my mind. Like, I have that kind of, my opinion changes and I kind of jump between things quick enough as well. I don't know, is there a label for that? Or
flip-flopper.
Flip-flopper, yeah, I kind of...
That'd be a derogatory term now, a flip-flopper.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it is, but if the term flip-flopper, you wouldn't say that about how cool someone was or how good someone was, you know. It's a...
Yeah.
They've, not that they're spineless, but they've no, I don't know, because it's important to change your mind. Very important, obviously. Like
100%.
But you don't want to be changing it with the breeze either, because you want some sort of continuity in your thought process.
Politics to me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If something I care about, I wouldn't be a flip-flopper, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's like, it's a conversation, like, your podcast, I don't know what number it is, and you were just saying about politics and being two different types, or I don't know.
Yeah, the left and the right, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know the ins and outs of politics, as you said, about many seats and all this kind of stuff. I don't know anything about politics at all. Don't even. Politics is just a load of shite. I was down in Cork in 2009 or whatever year it was, and there was an election on, and your man was standing outside the Cork Hospital and he's telling all the nurses, oh, I'm going to get you this, I'm going to get you that, and he's standing up on a big massive podium. He got voted in. He didn't do anything, he said to him. Do you know?
Yeah.
And that's all they are. And they'll tell you everything and anything you want to get in. They'll do nothing for you.
Their job is to get re-elected.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
That's what their job is. And when they get elected, why would you change the system that got you into the position that you're in?
Yeah.
Keep it the same. Happy days.
Don't mix it up.
But that's the type of politics that we have in Ireland. That's not politics.
Yeah,
you
if
know?
you look at the likes of the guy around Jesus, Lavender, Alan Lawless is his name. Like, that man, like, he's done so much for the area, you know, and there is good and all that as well. Like, there's only, like everything, there's a percentage of politicians just absolute gobshites as well. But again, look, I'm not even going to go into, because I'm not really.
Look,
politics just means nothing. But it's like, all I'm sort of saying is that I don't really care or whatever about politics, and that's why I'd be a flip-flopper and the likes of that. There would be other things I would be a lot more opinionated on, really, I suppose, and I'd hold my opinion on, but I'd flip-flop definitely on that one. I know.
Oh no, absolutely, and I think most people do, and the shame of that is it's probably one of the most important topics, and no one really gives a shit.
Yeah, that's it. Look, yeah, as you said, look, what are we saying about that? Was very good, actually. GameStop.
Yeah,
power to the people.
Power to the fucking people. Absolutely.
Do you know,
and as I said it on the solo, I was saying, wait and you see now, they'll try and change something, they'll try and do something, and fucking right they are. They're all the top Wall Street heads are calling for regulation. Like, the fucking Wall Street above any fucking organisation looking for regulation. Like, that's just insane. Absolutely insane.
Did you ever see the Chinese Hustle?
No.
Worth a watch.
Was it a movie or?
Yeah, well, it's a documentary, right?
Right.
So it's about China coming into the American stock market.
Okay.
And companies like, so, a company over in China was saying, oh yeah, we're in next year we're going to expand and we're going to be 100 million worth of a company, and they're barely even a 1 million company. So
right.
all this investment came from the States, and people lost a lot of money, like. But So one fella started investigating and went over. And when he went over, then he was just realising that there should be maybe 100 trucks coming in out of this factory every week. There's only one.
Fuck.
They're telling lies. But it's a Chinese law that you can't get prosecuted for fraud to foreign investment.
Okay, that's a nice one, isn't it?
Great law, isn't it?
If you can con another country to invest in here, there's no law that you can break that we'll fucking give a shit about. Like.
It's worth to watch, like, because it's just like your you were saying that the hedge
fund guys,
the hedge fund guys, the way they bet on the fall.
Yes.
So the guy tells that. So one of these guys then created a fall on a company just to show people that, look at this, guys, look, this is all bullshit, this is all horseshit.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
Went to the Congress. No one would listen to him. They're all involved.
Yeah, well, look, fucking good enough for them, like.
But now, as you said, no. But when the person's getting caught because the big boys are getting caught with their money that they got lost out on.
But see, this is what they can't abide by. It's the common dude. Like, what's going to happen now when when the plebs can fucking do what we can do? Like, but that's what it is. Like, I was chatting to actually Mr. McQuillan again only the other day about this, and the thought that came to mind was it was like the David and Goliath story.
Yeah.
It was like David and Goliath had been fighting each other for centuries.
Yeah.
Goliath had smashed David every day of the week, no questions asked. And the one day that David, knocks Goliath down, Goliath starts crying about weight classes. Do you know what I mean? And wants this charade to stop, like, all of a fucking sudden, like.
Yeah,
and that's literally what it is, like.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
You don't get sucked into any of that playing the stock market on apps or any of that crack, do you? Or do you?
Just chatting to a guy there now recently about the cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin and all that jazz.
Yeah, there's one there now, in fairness, he's pulled maybe 20 grand out of the last couple of months.
Yeah, I'd be scared about this kind of stuff.
No, but you know what, lad? It's down to everything, lad. If you can afford a tenner, or you can afford €100, you can afford €1,000 to put in. That's the problem. It's like, okay, right, I can get €1,000. Or I can get €500, then I'm going to invest in it. But again, as you said, you need your blinkers on. So that you focus on, what you're doing, what needs to be, where I put in my €500, 1,000. But for a fella that's, sure, I'll take 600 of them and 400 of those. Sure, you could be gone within an hour.
But what I'm always reminded of is something, I think it was Pat O'Reilly that said to me before, and it's fucking quality. I've never heard somebody say... What was it he said? I've never heard somebody say that they've cashed in their Paddy Power money. Do you know what I mean? Like, lads will tell you that they fucking won this and they won that, and they won't tell you what they lost, and that's fair enough. That's the joke. But you never hear somebody saying that they cashed in and they've put Paddy Power behind them and now they've got a load of money, because it doesn't work like that. It's like the casinos in Vegas. The more you win, the better treatment you get, so that you plough the money straight back into it. Like, that's what's...
Put it back in. Put it back in.
Because I've actually got two people have texted me in the last day or two, sending me links to these stock market things on the back of what I was saying about GameStop. Yes. I'm
going to download that app just for that. I swear to God, I was driving home, I was thinking, right, I couldn't download that. But again, it's like everything, right? And I suppose this is how these kind of companies win as well. Like, is the likes of million people jump on the Robin Hood now and invest a tenner each in something, Somebody's winning out of it somewhere,
Yes. It's rarely the lad that puts the tenner in, though.
Yeah. Like this Reddit thing now is going to set off a pattern where now they know, right, people can be conned, let's try something else, and a little scam will happen. I don't know, do you ever look at something on the internet, on your phone now especially, and agree to accept cookies or anything like that? Within an hour or two, lad, I'm always getting fucking phone calls, and they're all fucking... Oh, you want to buy this or you want to buy that?
Yeah, well, I don't get the phone calls, but I definitely do see the ads. So late,
I'll get phone calls continuously. Whatever I'm doing fucking wrong.
Are you giving your mobile numbers to websites, or how are they ringing you?
I don't. See, that's the thing. Maybe I agree to something deep down in the phone about your contact details. I don't know. But 100% I get a phone call within 2 hours. If I'm looking at something on the internet that I haven't. Say somebody sends a video or something and you have to accept the cookie or something like that.
Yes, well, this is a bit... I must do a fucking solo on this because there's a public broadcast announcement element to it. Since with all this new GDPR crack...
They have to ask you.
Yeah, so when you go onto a website and it comes up, if you want to watch this video or read this article, click here or click here to see all our details. What I would advise everyone to do is never click accept all at the start. Never click just OK to watch the video. Go into the options, basically, scroll down to the bottom, and there's usually accept only critical ones, and click OK on that, and that lets you read your article or watch your video or whatever it is without giving them the right to fucking sift through your fucking phone box or your messages or whatever the hell it is, like. Do you know what I mean? But again, we're late to the game on this, but that should be primary school level thing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
like these days, whatever about us, like they couldn't have warned us about the internet when we were in primary school.
I was in so when the daughter was in fifth last year, so there was a parent meeting, and there was a guy coming in just on about social media and all that kind of stuff, and telling stories, and it's absolutely crazy what you hear, like, you know. But he was just telling stories about how kids got roped in at young ages. But he said he went into the classroom. So what it was, he'd done a visit in the classroom, and he put up, right guys, everybody put up your hand who's on Snapchat. And 9/10 of the class put up their hand, they're on Snapchat. What's the legal age to use Snapchat? 13. And these are all 10 and 11.
Hilarious.
But again, as he said, who's the fault? Parents, including myself now as well. Like, for letting our child, you're lying for your child to go on to something because she's not on it, which is the other side of things as well. They're not in the group, you know. So like, I would have held my one back a lot and everything. So everybody would have got it well before her, you know. So it's even like the phone. She wouldn't have been allowed a phone, but then all of a sudden, I think it was 9 of her friends had phones for maybe 8-9 months. It was kind of, right, okay, you're going to have to give into, because they get isolated.
Yes.
And that's like, we can be as stern as we want, but we have to realise the world we're living in as well, you know. Just because you never got a fucking phone until you're, well, I didn't until I was 19 or 20. But that's gone now. Like, my mother went to school, no shoes on, she kept telling me, and she used to hunt to herd the cattle from one field into the next before she went to school. I never had to do that. So times change, you know. So if we don't move a little bit with the times, but I'd always kind of like, no, and a lot of parents are not just saying that I'm doing this for my kids, and there's a lot of other people doing it with theirs, I'm sure. But it's, you set a boundary and just leave the boundary, and just move the goalpost a little bit every time, you know. Incremental steps, we'll call it, you know. Fair enough, they're not going to be as streetwise as the other one that's on doing stuff 9-10 months before them, but at least they're mindful now of what way they need to approach something. Like, my daughter will always run in and say, look, something's ever popping up there, what is it? Or I don't know if I did that right, can you check? So, and that's what you want. You just want them to come back, because that internet is just, it's bad. Like we're grown men, lad, and there's stuff on it that comes into our phones that is just fucking,
it's not suitable for
crazy.
me.
Fuck
Never
me,
mind my fucking 6-year-old.
I have a fingerprint on my phone, because of the last thing you want is the kids getting your phone. Fucking that WhatsApp will be happening with shite.
Yeah, but it's mad though, because on one hand, you know, we as parents should be putting our kids wide to, you know, how to conduct themselves online, and, you know, to know the warning signs and all the rest of it. I don't know anything about Snapchat. Like, maybe you do. I don't know the first thing about Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Now, my kids don't have phones,
they're not
I'm
that
proud
age
to
yet.
say, but he's only 6. So,
Yeah, like, what age are you?
I'm 37.
Yeah, so you, whatever, Fiona is 5, isn't it?
6.
6, yeah.
6.5 if you ask him.
6.5 and a half. Well, that half is an important.
Very important.
Very important. But it's like, so say 6 years' time, right? We'll say, what's gonna be going on in this world in 6 years' time? You know, it's going to be even more advanced. There'll be more push to technology. I'm sure there's going to be more and more and more stuff out there. Like, so it's the control. Like, how do you control all that? When you, like, my brother is barely can turn on a computer. So how do you, if you can barely turn on a computer, how are you able to control or
your kids' Snapchat use
or see or anything like that? You know, like, I have that family link in my phone. You know, so I know how long they're on any app in the phone. So I've my phone linked to theirs.
Okay.
So I can limit times, I can turn off stuff, I can know that they're on Snapchat for 25 minutes or TikTok for an hour, we'll say, whatever, right? And she knows that, right? Now, again, maybe that might be a bit too much control, but maybe not on the other hand as well. She's aware that she has to be aware.
Yes.
You know, and as I just said to her there, no, I leave her off. Like she snaps out to her friends for school and all that. So it's a great thing, you know, it's a great way of communicating. And that's the other thing as well, that you need that kind of thing. You need that social contact that they can't get because they're away from their friends in school. And like at a young age, like, could you imagine being told, right, you're not allowed out, you're not allowed to contact people? Like, it's very hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, you can imagine like 13 to 16-year-olds over the last year must be very, very hard, you know. No, they probably never listened and they all hung out together anyway, but like if you've got stern parents that are keeping their kids in, it will be very tough on them, I'm sure, in the next couple of years dealing with all that as well.
Without a doubt, and you don't need to be a stern parent if you live in the country.
Well, this is
do you know that kind of way?
Yeah. But again, the likes of the Snapchat then helps. So in one hand, we give it, and one hand we take it. So like, do we want it? No, but yes, there is goods and bads in everything you do. It's but how you police it and how you the balance, the work-life balance, as we always say. Like,
oh no, without a doubt. And the old analogy is with the hammer. I mean, is a hammer good or bad? Well, it's good if you build a house with it, and it's not great if you smash someone over the head with it. And Snapchat, I suppose, is no different.
No different. No, anything is no different. Like, but again, as I said, like the brother, he's out of touch.
And sorry, what age is the brother?
He'd be 10 years, so he's 53.
Okay.
He's 10 years older. So that's the thing. Like, so it's a matter, you have to stay in touch. No, again, I'm not tech savvy or nothing like that, but I know a lot more than Block and that Archie, who's just totally just in case he listened. No, but the thing is that if we can teach our kids, look, that's all I say. I know I've probably gone on a bit about it, but like if we can teach our kids little things like that, will just help them. It'll be just crazy.
Oh no, without doubt. Like the mindfulness thing, like you might think on one hand, like what the fuck has mindfulness got to do with your Snapchat use? But if you're mindful to know that you're in any given moment, you suddenly feel fucking terrible. If you appreciate that as it happens, what you'll do is you'll recognize what the similarity is. So you'll say to yourself, right, in this moment I feel fucking terrible and I'm on Snapchat. And the last time I felt terrible, I was on fucking Snapchat. Maybe it's this fucking Snapchat thing. And that's what we have to teach our kids. It's not rules and regulations around the use of Snapchat. It's realizing, you know, is what you're doing in this moment making you a better person or a worse person, or a nicer person or a more angry person? And again, it boils down to how you look after your own. There's a guy I'm a big fan of. I'm sure you love him actually. Gabor Mate is his name, but I think he's a child psychologist. He's certainly a Canadian psychologist, but he specialises in addiction. And his shtick about addiction is that, now I'm going to butcher this, but the gist of it is that his definition of addiction is anything that you do that you get enjoyment from that has negative consequences in the long term that you can't stop yourself from doing. And the important thing to notice about that description of addiction is that he didn't mention drugs in it. So it's anything that you do regularly that you enjoy that has long-term negative consequences. So if that could be staring at your phone, it could be on Snapchat all the time. It doesn't matter what it is. If it conforms to that description, it's an addiction. And another thing that he says about, because I think his speciality is in childhood psychology, and his advice for people, he gets asked all the time, you know, what's the one thing that I should do to make sure that my kids don't grow as fucked up as me, say. And his advice is sort your shit out, basically. Become a better person yourself. That's the gift that you give your kids. And that's how you'll make your kids become the strong, independent, creative, happy, fucking autonomous people you want them to.
Yeah, and like, again, a lot of people, and I think you might be as well a little bit, I don't have to be happy-go-lucky all the time, you know. So some people think, you have to be happy all the time to be happy. You don't have to be on that fucking bubble up at the very, very top all the time. It's kind of keeping that mid, that when your lows aren't low and your highs aren't high.
Yes.
That you can keep that just a flatliner. You don't need to be on this roller coaster, high, low, because that's what's wrong. Because like, oh yeah, brilliant, everything is excited, and then all of a sudden you have a little bang, and you're straight down to the bottom. So it's about just having that balance, that flow, flatliner flow.
Oh no, without doubt, absolutely. And I think if your kids can see that, like if your kids see you,
I definitely can't see that in me lately.
but at least you can say lately.
Yeah, well, no, look. At the end of the day, look, I'm definitely not wanting to be sitting here now thinking that I'm a model parent by any means, for sure. But I'm mindful about trying to be as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think that in itself is something. Like even I was saying to you, I don't know saying this, but the weekend I don't know what the hell happened, especially yours. It was just a weird one. It's like just a cloud came over me, but just in a bad mood. And I was doing stuff around the house. I was flying, painted daughter's room, flying. It was brilliant. And the daughter even said, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "What do you mean, what's wrong with me?" You know? And I hadn't even said anything to her, and she got the vibe off me. So it just, I don't know what it was. Again, I don't know what it was that came over me, but something came over me again. And as I said, it was nearly 10 o'clock this morning before I just fucking shook it, whatever it was. But again, if you can be just mindful about things like that, right? And if your kids can be mindful about those things as well, it'll be just a happier place for everybody, really. For them. Sorry, I ranted there. For them, like, it'll be a happier place because it's a matter of you can keep that flatliner, they'll keep a flatliner, and they won't be on this thing. Because you can see, and we were kids, we show off so much. And even I suppose today's, if you're out with a gang of lads, you're going to show off a little bit when you're out with a gang of lads. But it's a matter of then, as you said, then why am I unhappy? I'm looking at the phone, I'm not getting text back. Why am I getting all this kind of stuff? And that's the low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And you just want to keep that flat.
Yeah, well, what I find for myself personally is what keeps me out of the phone is being busy. I'm not.
Yeah, you are a busy person.
I am, but it's not all good though. That busyness, I know that, but like, you know.
For me, like you said there, when you wake up in the morning, you're all going, you're trying to get a new idea. For me, if I overload it with too many things, then all of a sudden I'm just procrastination. That just kicks in because then all of a sudden it's like what you done that time. You said, right, I'm committing, I'm going to do a solo each day, you know. But then you didn't realise, oh shit, I have to do other stuff on top of that then as well, and I have to do this and look after the kids. And all of a sudden then, like, oh shit, I have to do I committed. So overcommitment, sometimes you're putting yourself under undue stress.
Oh, without doubt.
You know, and like, is that a good thing? I don't think so. You know, like, we can commit to stuff and get it done, but it's, if you build up too many things, like I could not work the way you work because you're able to do things, and I don't know what way you do it, but like you can come up with a lot of ideas. Look at this thing that you've created as well, like, and it's been a bit of a journey for this podcast. Like, this is class altogether, like, and then you built this mobile podcast. All a bit of a journey, like, but there's so much going on with you, like, it's crazy, where I wouldn't be able to, like, even the research you put into stuff. You know, you have to put the blinkers on and put in research before you do a podcast. There's a lot of commitment each time, isn't there?
Not really, to be perfect. The solos,
for me, no, it would be, lad.
Well, for the solos, the ones that I've been doing, especially the more, well, all of this season anyway, and most of the last, is like, you'll often hear me say at the start of one of the solos, okay, right, I just have to start fucking talking, and I'll just start talking, because what I'll find myself doing is I'll sit down to record a solo podcast by myself, say, and I'll have fucking 5 pages of notes written over the course of an hour, and no podcast to show for it.
Yeah.
But
you're getting so many ideas out. That's what I'm saying. Your head just continuously.
Yeah, but there's another soundbite. What is it? Analysis paralysis. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
Analysis paralysis.
Oh no, actually, I probably did. In your podcast,
probably
that out.
What analysis paralysis is you think about something that you're going to do to such an extent that you never do it.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly guilty of this next thing, which is being busy. Being busy is often but can be a form of laziness. So I'll have, let's say if you were to ask me now, okay, Frano, you've got fucking 6 days to live, what do you absolutely need to get done? And I'll say, right, fuck, I need to do this, this, and this. And I go, right. And because I don't have fucking a week to live, I'll busy myself polishing the screen in this studio before I sort out the battery I need to power it. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
But I'm busy.
Yeah.
So I'm busy.
Flats
Don't, I'm on top of my head. Can't talk to me. I'm too busy, and I'll be doing something that doesn't really need to get done.
Prioritise.
Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
But I'm busy,
Yeah.
and it's a form of laziness.
Well,
You're avoiding doing things by doing things.
Yeah, in a way, but I suppose like this thing about time management and managing yourself, really, I suppose, isn't it? Like it's about when you write out that list. It's a thing an audiobook again I was listening to was Eat the Frog. So it's
that idea of do something horrible at the start of your day.
Just but you prioritize things. So it's a matter of you high, low, medium, whatever you want to do. Okay, right, I'm going to get 2 highs done tomorrow and 3 lows. Do you know? And all of a sudden you're ticking a box. So it's like when I have my book at work, any tasks or anything I have to do, I'm writing it out. And this one of the boys told me put a little tick box there. Just draw a little tick box. And he says just as you go along during the day and the week, all you see is all these ticks beside this box. It's just something mentally in your head. Oh, right, okay, actually, I've done a bit today, or I have to do other stuff. You can move it around, but it's a matter of you're actually prioritizing stuff in your head and saying, right, okay, or else an asterisk beside something. It's like the job at home, right? Okay, if I don't do that, there's a potential to a leak or whatever. But as you said, sure, I'll do these other 3 or 4 handy ones. It's right, but if you just say, right, okay, if I just go at that now and just get it done, it's done. Done, as we say.
Sorry?
Done.
No, absolutely, yeah. Because that's another thing that I'm guilty of doing. I'll do something enough.
Yeah, would you?
Do you know that kind of way? Like there'll be a wire hanging off something, and I'll just sellotape it up until it's done enough.
We're all there, yeah. So it's like even when I done that kitchen now, there's still bits and pieces still left, but still just the skirting board. There's a bit of painting to be done, and there's little things that'll be done. No, it's not a biggie. Like the big things are done, but it can be done. Like that's a little thing. The priority, I put the priority to stuff that had to be done and got into stuff that had to be done. But it's a matter of just the little things. They'll say, I'll get that in the weekend time. But if we manage ourselves that way, right? Like anybody manage themselves that way. It's like everybody's guilty of putting it off, right? But all we're doing is procrastinating. We're building it up. And then something else that has to be done then as well. On top of that, it's 2 has to be done. And then there's other little bits and pieces that has to be done. And then all of a sudden, before we realize it, we're into the summer and we have a shitload of stuff to do. And you'd probably end up doing nothing. Because all you're doing is, oh, fuck that, I'm not doing that. And all this causing the shite then because you're giving out yourself then for most of the day. Oh, I should have done that. Why did I waste the last 4 hours sitting down when I could have actually done that? Just go away. Do your little incremental improvements as you go along. Prioritize one, do it. Prioritize the other one, do it.
Yeah,
just
and
get it done.
It's funny because if you can get into a rhythm of doing that, and I will from time to time, I'll be on a roll and I'll be just fucking hammering it, and then a month or 2 will go by and I'll do fuck off and and I'll be depressed about it.
Doesn't matter who or what we are, we're all guilty of that.
Oh no,
we're all
doubt.
Guilty of let's get into this hit. It's like me. I'm 13.5 stone now or something like that, and I'm overweight. I'm badly overweight, and it's the heaviest. Second time I've got to this weight. The first time I went to Slimming World and I lost 2 stone was the best thing I ever done. So I can do it. I can lose 2 stone without exercising. I've never done one exercise and I lost it. But it's a matter of I can do it. I know I can do it. But will I do it? Will I make that extra commitment? And it's just the last couple of weeks, as you said there, let's start afresh 1st of February and drive on, right? January was January. Usually people's January was the January that you changed for that year for a couple of months or the rest of the year, whatever lasted. But because of COVID, it's like, oh no, sure, I don't have to give up anything, fuck's sake. Sure, I'm locked away. Sure,
I think things are tough enough.
I'm allowed to eat shit, And that's my problem is the last 2 lockdowns, that's what I done. Drank and ate shit. So it's like, right, okay, I need to do something. You get out for a walk, right, with the dog or whatever. That 20 minutes just clears the head. It's like having a good shower. You can just wash the day. My mother used to always say to me, when I was down home and I was working and coming in maybe a bit stressed when I was down there working away from home. And she said, go in and have a shower, wash off the day. And you're like, oh no, I'll go in a while. Just go in and do it. And you go in and do it and you wash off the day. And it's true, like, it's funny, like, just little things like that. And it's just a walk. And it's my wife saying to me, get out, you're in the office all day now, get out, go for a walk. It's like, no, I won't bother. But then you start doing it. And it's like little things, right? And again, it's like everything. Me come back in 6 months' time and see if I'm doing the same things I said I was going to be doing now. Maybe not, and that's the truth as well. Don't get me wrong there either. But little things, just go little things. Go for a fucking walk for 20 minutes. So then you do that couch to 5K, or was it?
Couch to 5K.
Yeah, so that's another. I downloaded the app. And I done
good lad.
I downloaded it, and I done one night. So, but with doing the stuff in the daughter's room, it took up my time, and I couldn't do anything else. So again, it's little things like that, and it's like Pat are saying about the why. Like the other day, I was going to the fridge to eat something. It's like, why do I'm that hungry?
Yeah, why am I opening the fridge door?
Why don't I eat a banana? Right?
Yeah.
So I'd be very good during the week, eat bananas, do all that kind of stuff. Come the weekend, eat a banana? Nah. Why would you eat a banana at the weekend?
And there are a fucking box full of twirls in the fridge.
Fuck that. So it's kind of like little things like that. But like, I heard that in a podcast with you about Padder saying about why.
Yeah. I think it was Porrick, actually.
Oh,
but
Porrick, sorry. So that was something that was said inside in the podcast months ago.
Months ago, yeah.
So all of a sudden it just came into my head. So you didn't say about the couch, getting
Couch
up
to 5K, yeah.
getting on and doing that. No, you did say about the gym thing, which I'm scared shitless of doing, which was the thing that you were going doing on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's because you misunderstand it, though.
Oh, misunderstand it. You're going on with the fucking fellas that could snap your neck within a second, and
yeah, but there'd be no fun of me snapping your neck in a second, because that would be just it done. Like, you want to drag it out over months of torture. No, it's like if you're completely unfit and you're coming down to what I have in my mind and what the lads are coming down, you're going to. It depends on your level. I mean, if you're fucking the captain of the football team, you're going straight in for some fucking for some hard training, like. But I mean, if you have been on the couch for the last fucking 10 years.
No. Ever since that time, remember, and you sent on the video, like, I have got up and gotten doing stuff. But again, it's funny though, the way we can just let the world grab us as well and just fucking stop us at times, isn't it? Like, we can make up all the excuses in the world not to do something, like. So it's, as I said, like, it's little snippets that I take from everything. Like, it's like your podcast, and that's why I was giving out to you a couple of days ago, because you never uploaded. It's just, but it is.
That's a great complaint to get, actually.
Yeah, I know, it was cool, because like for me, it was kind of like, all right, wait a second, because I'm on that Stitcher app. It's like, oh fuck, is there something wrong? Has he not uploaded to the Stitcher or whatever? But then I just text you. It was more kind of you saying, oh no, I've uploaded the last 3. I don't know what's wrong with you. That's what I was expecting. But then it was like, oh no, right. So, like, again, as I said, conversations. Everybody loves having a conversation. Like, I love meeting you and the lads, and there's always something. Everybody's got their own different view, right? And it's good to get it from other people. Reading from a book, don't really get it. I don't really like that. I like to listen to people and listen to them talk.
Yeah,
that's why I like the audiobooks as well, right? And it's like the podcast. Like, I remember when I started meeting you first, and I was saying about things, and you were like, oh yeah, podcast. Yeah, we're always doing podcasts, you know. It was a new thing to me, you know. It was even like music when I first met you, you know. There was music in this when we were playing cards. Like, there's music I never heard in my life. It was crazy. Like, from meeting ye lads, the stuff you've introduced to me has been crazy as well, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just having those little pockets of conversation with you, but I'm not having a conversation. I'm listening to you. So I'm just taking little snippets. It's like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was another guy I know up in Dublin, and he mentioned his name, and it's like, fuck. So you said it, and he said it. And it's like, right, okay, I have to look into him a little bit. And it's just through that, right? Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have looked into it. I would have never even. It's like this other guy that you mentioned at the start as well. I can't remember the name. So
Sam Harris.
So again, like, it's like that. It's like during this conversation. So I am going to go away, and I'm going to look into them and just take little snippets again and just keep moving on. Now, have I done everything from the very first person I've ever listened to or read or whatever? Well, listened to. It's like, no, I've done bits. And I do bits here and bits here. I just take the snippets that suit me at that time.
Oh yeah,
and it's like everything. Like, you could listen to so Eckhart Tolle would be the main one. I'd listen back over that audio book, and like, you could listen to, or even there's another one actually, Zen Golf it's called, right? So I like to play golf, but golf doesn't like me. But the mindfulness of that, right? And it's funny. I could just play it, and it's the same maybe 20-minute section or whatever it is. Like, I might have. And it'll just pick something different. It's amazing where the mind is at different times. Not what your mood is, but where the mind is. And I would have heard the same thing, and I would have took something from the start. Now, all of a sudden, I took something from maybe the middle, and I went with that.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. I don't know how that works or the mind works, but I was always told by this lady before is that whatever is for you will be for you then. So whatever you do there and whatever you take away, it's for you now.
Right.
Okay? It's for you now. And that's why you take it away. And then it's a matter of why people revisit books and that. Obviously, they'll take other little snippets. So for me, it's I'm taking that now and I'm working with that now and I'm going to go with that now. Then after a while, I could go at it again and take another snippet out of it and go with that again. So
Yes.
I don't know why that is. Would you know why that is?
No, I don't. Listening to you talk, the thing that springs to mind is you said it a couple of times in this podcast actually. Where you were and what you were doing when you were listening, or the type of mood you were in when you were listening to it. And what's coming to mind now is I have this idea that you're a collection of Archies. Do you know what I mean? You're a collection of Adrians. Do you know kind of way? And I'm a collection of Franos. And at the minute, you've got me in fully engaged, fully articulate. You've got my full attention. That's the Frano that's here. I'm in conversation mode.
Yeah.
But that's not the mode I'm in when I'm, in a fucking rage, or I'm, in love, or whatever the different emotions that we go throughout our days. And it's who's listening. So you're listening to these things, but which one of the yous is listening when the thing clicks? Do you know that kind of way? Because angry Frano doesn't want to hear peace and love, man. Do you know that kind of way? Angry Frano wants to hear Eminem rapping really loud and hard and heavy. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
But when I'm depending on my humour, I listen to different types of music.
It's mad, isn't it?
I'll be in the humour to listen to something heavy, or I'll be in the humour to listen to something really fucking mellow and kind of background elevator music, as they call it. And I'm the one listening, but which part of me is listening? Yeah. Do you know that kind of way? And
I hear you.
It's the same with books. Like, what part of you, or which one of you that's within you did that resonate with? Do you know that kind of way?
I hear you, yeah. But you're not saying I'm a schizo or anything like that.
No more than the rest of us.
Yeah, but that's another thing as well. Like the question, when you question yourself, like, is it they say that you have 68,000 thoughts a day or something? Is that true?
Oh, fuck, I've no idea.
Something like that, So, you always go through that side of things where you think it's only me, that no one else thinks the way you think and all that kind of stuff, but it isn't. There's so many other people that are the same way,
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like, there was a time I didn't think like that. I always thought that I was the only one. And you just, as I told you before about this thing popping. So in work, there was one time where it just got on top of me. Everything got on top of me. It was just, but again, it was the procrastination where I was building everything up. I had to do this and this and this, and didn't do this and this and this and this, and didn't do this and this and this. It's like, there's no one man ever going to do what I had built up that I had to get done.
Yes.
And I never chipped away. Like, one thing, if you want to eat a big cake, you're not going to try and eat the whole thing at once. You're going to just eat bits of it. But I wasn't. My mentality had gone that time, and all I was thinking about is I had to get this done, and the world was going to end if I didn't get it done. And I thought I was alone, that no one else thought like I was thinking. But as I soon learned after 2016, is that, fuck me, there's loads of other people that are like me. They just deal with it differently. So that's what I've been kind of doing, is trying to get to that stage where I can deal with stuff without popping or without procrastination to a degree where I get nothing done. I might as well be just not going into work, because all I'm doing is just building up, and nothing gets done. So, as I said, like, I've been drawn into certain scenarios with companies I've been working in, and I'd always gone into this kind of things, supervision management, we'll call it. So I'm always drawn there, always getting led there. So it's a matter of, right, what do I need to do? I need to learn how to deal when I get into that scenario, not be in that scenario and have the same thing happen to me again.
Yes, you have to kind of see it coming nearly.
Well, it's not even that. It's more that I know what's going to happen when I get to that level, as in workload and all that kind of stuff, and it's all the mental side. My hands are gone. They're only for writing now. Years ago, I was on the tools. So when I laughed earlier about off the tools are your hands. Like, as the saying goes, like, when you're a tradesman, if you lose a hand, your trade is gone. So now my trade is gone because I'm no longer welding, no longer pipe fitting. Now I'm in the office, so it's all your mental side of things. So I have to learn and adapt how to deal with the mental side of the way I work and bring that work balance to life then as well.
And what have you done? Do you think is there something in particular that you've done that's benefited your work more so than anything else? Like, is there something that you've consciously done in your private life that's had a...
Well, it's the audiobooks. It's like the power of now is the one. It's just that you know where you are. Like, it's, as I said to you earlier, we're in the now. Just me and you here now. Nothing else. Everything's good. All is well. But just being able to, again, as we said, sitting in your mind, watching the busy traffic go by and actually not getting caught up with it. That's the thing, you know. So it was a mate of mine that introduced me to Headspace years ago. I rang him and I was telling him the shite I was in. He was in Australia. And I was telling him the crack, you know, all I had fucking stress to the max. So he said, use that Headspace. So use the app. So every day I went into work, I'd sit in the car for 20 minutes beforehand because I was waking up early. Mind would start racing early. So then you're awake. So if it's 4:30, 5 o'clock or whatever time, you're up and that's it. So the mind's racing. So it's how to deal with that. So I was getting to work early, then trying to meditate or whatever, have that time. So that was that year. So then as I went on the next year, then I added something else and then added something else. So it's, as I'm saying, I'm taking snippets. It's not from a few months, it's for years. And it's just getting me to deal with my mind that just, okay, right, you have to get that done. Okay, don't do these other 4 or 5 things, just do those things and that's it. And just learn how to deal with yourself and manage yourself. That's it.
You have to learn a bit about yourself before you can deal or manage it yourself.
Yeah, but again, how do you learn about yourself?
Well, I suppose just getting to know yourself, like
but
realizing.
But that's what I mean. How do you do that? Is by actually getting into your own head, by actually stopping, and like it's like that, the mindfulness of the whole lot of that. It's just stop. Like Eckhart Tolle tells you that you're the listener in your head. You're not saying those things. So the way you talk yourself down, it's like thing you spoke to me about before is what's it? Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah, just things like that. So you're listening to your mind, telling you stuff. Oh yeah, you shouldn't be here. What the fuck are you doing here? Do you know what I mean? It's like that then as well. You know, you talk yourself out of scenarios. Like, we should be our own best friend. Like, you should be telling yourself all good things, but you don't. You'll give out yourself. You'll be negative to yourself. It's like when you're playing golf. You'll tell the fellow who's playing golf beside you, oh yeah, unlucky lad, unlucky next time. You'll be better. But then if you do the same thing, you're like, for fuck's sake, I'm useless. What the fuck? I'm giving this up, do you know?
Yeah.
And you're not your own best friend. So it's like, for me, it's kind of, how am I going to be my own best friend is by catching myself in the moment of getting caught away with stuff. It's like even Eckhart Tolle says, right? No, I know I'm getting on a bit about him, but when you're climbing the stairs, like you're at work, you might climb the stairs 3 or 4 times a day. In those moments, every time you take a step, be mindful of your step. And that actually brings you back to now. You're just now walking up the stairs.
Yes.
Because 9 times out of 10, you're walking up the stairs and you're thinking about 400 other things that's going on or have to be done. It's like when you wash your hands. So many times you wash your hands, especially now in the COVID times. Being mindful washing your hands. That's bringing you to a moment, to now. And actually, the more you do that, the more times you bring yourself into the now, you're training yourself as you go along to actually stop yourself. So what we could do is, like, how many times have you drove down the road and thought, oh Jesus Christ, how did I get here so quick?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your mind has gone away.
Yes.
And it's gone away, it's doing whatever.
It's the opposite of being in the moment and being in the now.
Exactly. So it's those things, and as he keeps saying, every day you do something, bring it in more and more, and it's just to be more mindful about it. So that's what I've done. I've helped self-teach myself to actually be mindful by those little things.
Yeah.
Do I do those every day?
No, of course.
I don't. But do I think about those things every day? Do I catch myself running away? What did I do the weekend? I was doing something the weekend, and before I done it, I had made a shit of it. Like myself and my brother, if we were going to build in this podcast that you've done, the mobile one, like we would find out 100 things that can go wrong by talking to other people. So when it comes to doing it, we will know how to deal with the things that go wrong, right? And it's a good tool to have, because you're learning how to, if there is something going to go wrong, you know how to fix it. But if you use that wrongly, all negatives, you're just bringing in all these negatives and they're all on top of your shoulders. And it's too much. It's very hard for one person. So it's a matter of, if you can problem solve, which is a great thing to have in life, but you need to be able to deal with the problem solving of things and not be thinking negative. Because some people, oh, you can't do that, sure you can't, the nails aren't long enough. Yeah, but I'm going to, no, you can't. There's nothing worse than having a person like that.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely wouldn't be able to try.
I can't handle people like that.
100%, and it's so hard. But do we do that to ourselves? Yeah. Like, there is times that we'll be, oh, yeah, I can't do that, you're not able to do that, you won't be able to do that. And you get caught up in that moment. And all of a sudden, like, and you haven't even gone anywhere, you haven't done anything. And you've already wrecked your head. And then all of a sudden, you're getting up and there's a cloud over your head. It's like, for no reason. Nothing has brought you to that, only that you got caught up in a moment, a thought, and you ran away with it. Instead of actually, oh, fuck's sake, get over it. You know what I'm saying? No. Do you ever hear people say that? No.
No. Yeah.
No. That's the thing I built in then as well. No.
Kind of calm down. It's not like no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but just to your, you say it unknown to yourself. No. And it's just, okay. It stops your mind. It helps me to stop the thought process. So instead of getting caught up with something, I'd say no. And I actually bring myself back. Not back either. That's probably bad.
No, but I think I know what you mean. Yeah,
bring me back into myself.
Yeah.
It's about, like he says, about being. We're human beings. So be in the now.
Yes. It's funny because Podge said something to me before. I think it was in relation to lucid dreaming or something. But aside from that, it's relevant here in relation to what you were saying about going up the steps and washing your hands and those kind of cues that triggers. Bring you back, triggers that just you can use to kind of bring you back into the now, which will interrupt your rumination and interrupt your kind of foggy kind of thinking and bring you back to being in the present. You're not worrying about what's going to happen. You're not worrying about what has happened. You're in the now, as they say. But one thing Podge was saying was, he said that when he was walking through a doorway, so if he was going from one room into another room, he put his hand out in front of him, is almost as if he was afraid that he'd walk into a pane of glass. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
So every time when he walks from one room to another, he just puts his hand out in front of him, and that's his
trigger.
Little, I'm walking from one room to another, and I'm not worrying about that girl I should have kissed when I was 7, or whatever bullshit is in your fucking head, like. You know, it's
amazing actually what the mind just triggers up at times, isn't it?
Oh, big time. And another one that I found very good is because I'm a cunt for ruminating. Like, I'll get a bad thought in my head and it'll just, like a broken record, it'll just go round and round and round and round. And I think it was Sam Harris put me onto this years ago. He was saying, if you catch yourself ruminating, write down what you're ruminating.
That's the thing.
And I'd write it down. I go, okay, but the thing I'm ruminating is what I should have said to that guy.
Yeah.
And you write it down and it's like, right, okay. And you're like, you're almost expecting to have 1,000 things to write down because you don't realise you're repeating the same thing over and over. Yeah. So when you actually physically write it down, it's like, oh fuck, okay, it's just that one thing, or maybe that 2 or 3 things, but there's a limit to it. You can see it there in front of you. It's only 3 sentences. It's not 45 books.
Yeah,
do you know that kind of way?
Oh no, like the writing is just the one, isn't it? Like you've done a bit of writing before as well, didn't you?
I do. A huge amount of writing.
It's actually a good thing because, as you said, you're getting stuff out of your head and onto a piece of paper. But it's just, as you said there, like one thought, and you're after spiraling out of control. Like,
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I'll auger myself into the ground with one thing,
like that.
But I won't notice. That'll consume me for maybe 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
But I won't even notice. But all the people around me will notice.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But what they'll see is, Frano was in bad humour.
Yeah.
They obviously don't see that Frano was repeating the same sentence over his fucking head over and over.
Freaking out with fucking red eyes.
Yeah, I remember Fionn actually, I was stressed and I was up to 90 and I was fucking moving this and moving that, whatever. And Fionn came in just at the wrong time and daddy. It was just one of those moments. And I turned around. I was like, "Oh, Fionn, just give us a second." And I didn't say what came into my head. What came into my head was, "Can you not fucking see Daddy's tearing himself up inside?" That's what I wanted to say. That's the thought that came into my head. But I had the awareness to kind of catch that thought and go, Jesus Christ, Rano, like fucking hell, really? Like, you know, you're going to tell your fucking 6-year-old to leave you alone. You're busy tearing yourself apart inside.
But
like, fucking hell, like.
Isn't it funny how we can do that, doesn't it?
Oh, big time. Big time. But this is the thing, like, what I'm talking about and what you're talking about, this isn't, you know, us two weirdos. This is absolutely every single man, woman and child in the country.
That's a big thing for people to realise, though, that you're not, like as I said to you that time with me, it was just me. It was just me in my world. There was no one else in my world. There was no one else being affected. There was no one else that could understand. There was no, like, I wasn't in any way suicidal or anything like that. Like, it was just all on top of me. It was just, there was a weight. And, like, you can't go through life like that. Because I'll never forget going into the, reading the young fella story. And I just was reading the story and it's like, and he was like, "You reading the story, Daddy?" And I was like, yeah. Alright, so bye, night. Like, and even I couldn't concentrate even at 9:30 or whatever it was, 8:30 at night, whatever it was. Still just bogged down, and you're going. Like, that's one thing. Massive is that I go to sleep and I wake up. My sleep is not affected in years. It's fucking great. No matter how much shite is at work or many shites on my doorstep, I go to sleep and I wake up again. It's just, before I would have struggled going to sleep, and I would have struggled in once I woke. That was it. I was awake, but now I'll fall back to sleep. No, again, the weekends I'll wake up at 7:30 and I'm up, which is fine. But it's just during work, like, you're not getting up and you're not stressing about work. And in 2016 there was one thing, and it was just massive, and I really was spiraling out of control in my head. But there was a person I met that time, and she was like, "It's going to be grand. Watch out now. It's going to be fine." And just put those thoughts there, you know. And it did. Oh man, it was just incredible, the win I had. So there was a massive issue, and just it was crazy because the issue happened and pipe was all underground, right? And I was like, water was leaking out of it, so fucked. Where the fuck do we dig up? It's all buried inert now. And I pointed at the spot that just came into my head. Try there first. Lo and behold, it was there, where the leak was. It was just where before that was like I was panicking and stressing over it, and it was just whatever you had said to me that time. And she says, "Look, and I just calmed myself down, brought myself to a place, and then it was just like, again, it was pure pox, but it was just, that was the kind of thing that triggered to me. Then, like, okay, right, just calm the fuck down. Like, you can fix things. You don't have to create all this negativity and land it on your shoulders. You can fix things, and you are able to fix things."
There's a lot of problem solving in your job, is there?
There would be. Look, it's like every job, though. Like, you look at you and the growing and the mold and, like, everything we do in life, there's always going to be some sort of a fix. Whether you're going to do something, you go in, oh shit, have to fix the plug inside in the kitchen. Oh, and you're doing it, then you busted the screw. Oh fuck, how am I going to fix this problem? So you're always going to be thinking, no matter what you do, I have to go upstairs. Something happens as you're going up the stairs. Oh, I have to fix that. Like, no matter what we do, like we plan. Like, if you go to the shop, like, you just don't go to the shop. You plan what you're going to do before you go to the shop. Right, it's cold outside. I better get a top. Better get a hat. It's raining. Yeah. So you're planning. Like, you're continuously.
Yeah. If you were to ask a robot to do a menial task, there's 1,000 things it needs to know.
So, like, we don't realize, like, how much our mind works and how much of a tool it is. And that's what Eckhart Tolle says, is like, it needs to rest as well. Like, so just by living in the now, you don't have to think about the past, because you can't change the past, no matter what you want to do. As you said there, oh, I should have said that to somebody whatever years ago, I should have kissed or whatever it was. And then the future hasn't happened. How can you change the future? You can't really, but you can do something now that will help you in the future, or do something now that, right, well, if I go outside and it's raining, I'm going to get wet. But if I put a jacket on now, then I won't get it. Do you know what I mean? So you're continuously not problem solving to a degree, but you're planning. You're planning what you're going to do next. When you, especially women, like women are, like the planning they do is just incredible. Like.
Herself's off the charts.
Fuck
Absolutely
me, like,
off the charts.
I take my hat off to the wife during this fucking lockdown. Like it's crazy. Well, homeschooling, you're doing a bit of that, yeah?
No.
No.
To be honest with you, no.
That's just, like, I know they're saying, oh, sure, a kid at home, all he wants to do, or she wants to do, is, sure, all their stuff is around them. Sure, television's there. All the distractions in the world are there. Sure, why would they want to be sitting up, down in one spot like they do in school all the time? It's very hard, like, so you have to take your hat off, like, especially, like, you come home and the dinner's on the table and everything as well. You can't say nothing on this for sure. But again, everybody has that. I do believe that even kids, even if they're doing stuff from a young age, we're all problem solvers.
No, without a doubt. I'm just after thinking about something now. Be intrigued to hear your take on this. I find if I'm engaged with something with my hands, so let's say when I was building this, or when I'm fucking doing anything really, but when you said wiring the plug then as well, that's something that needs, like, 100% focus. You have to get the connections right. Everything has to fit for it to screw back together again and all the rest of it. And as a welder or a pipe fitter, like, that's your bread and butter. You're at that fucking 20. It's literally your trade.
That's how you bring money into the.
But there's a lot of mindfulness there. Or maybe mindfulness is the wrong word, but there's certainly a lot of being present and being in the now. Because when you're, especially welding,
100%,
welding above
100%.
fucking anything else I can think of.
But,
like, pilots don't have to concentrate like a welder has to concentrate.
But again, it's the length of time. So, like, to do a butt, like, could take you, whatever, 2 or 3 minutes to 2 hours. But I know some welders, like, I'm definitely not of this era, but they call it walk the cup. I'll send you a video of that. Like, some of this welding is just phenomenal. So,
artists at welding, like.
Oh my god, mate of mine, Mick Jardine there in Australia, like, he's just class. But they call it walk the dog, right? So people can actually see I'm just wiggling my wrist, and what it is they walk the torch up along the pipe. I'll send you a video, you can put it up.
Yeah.
But just, it's an art, like. But some of these welders, that they're just so used to it, they become like a robot. Like, some of their welds are as good as a machine weld.
Yes.
It's incredible.
But I would imagine when they're doing that, it's they're not worrying about the mortgage. No. But you know what I mean? And I found the same with, and it's a stark comparison maybe, but I would find sparring meditative, or even rolling in jiu-jitsu.
Sure, like, you're talking about living in the now.
Oh, without, like, you're not worrying about your bills and some lad's trying to swipe your nose off you.
You're just worrying about, should I duck or should I block? I don't think we'd even give it 2 choices.
But do you think you suffered as a consequence of not having the hands-on?
Over the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Could have, yeah, so, okay, there you go. So, one of the biggest things is to delegate.
Yes.
Yeah? So you have to put somebody else. You're telling somebody else to do something. Do you know it'd be way easier for you just to go down and do it yourself? Because you can do it? Hell yeah. But you can't.
Yeah, because if you did, then you wouldn't be doing the other thing.
Exactly. So it's that level of trust that, like everybody, right? You're definitely the same way. Like, you want to try and do something 100%. But trying to do something 100% is so fucking hard. It's crazy, like, but your 100% could be somebody else's 70, or your 75% could be somebody else's 100%. Do you know? So you put all that kind of stress on yourself to do something. I'm after going away from the thought there now. Bring me back.
I was saying about you not welding anymore and not being in the moment, so doing your trade.
It's the delegation. So you want to do something perfectly right every time.
Okay. Right?
But then you have to delegate to somebody else that has to do it.
Yes. Who isn't maybe to your standard.
Well, not even
or
that.
Above or below, whatever.
Exactly, yeah. But it's more that you have to delegate. You have to sort of say, right, I know I can do this, but I'm going to have to tell him to do it. So you have to learn that. And that takes a bit of time as well, because, as you said, like, you're so used to doing the hands-on stuff, now you can't. You have to take away your hands. Now you have to manage people around you. So yeah, that is a very, very, very tough thing. And maybe, you know, something you saying it there now, probably maybe sitting with me a bit more, really, than I thought.
Yeah, well, I'd personally imagine that, not you specifically, but I would imagine that there's a huge psychological ramification to somebody who's doing something and has a trade and is doing it for fucking decades or whatever length of time it is, and then all of a sudden they're looking after people that are doing it. I reckon that there's an inevitable amount of suffering from the loss of the presentness of, you know, having the visor down and fucking getting your bead right or whatever you fucking welder comes to be at.
As I moved on then, as I said to you, I done the computerized welding, the machine welding.
Okay.
So,
but even machine welding, I would imagine that's not just plug and play either.
No, it definitely isn't, even though a lot of people say, yeah, you just press play, but no, it isn't. But there's there's time that you're able to ease up during the welding, right? But no, that's very interesting. That's going to sit with me a bit more. I think that I'll have to process that one, because definitely if I think back, I'd say that could have been the biggest one.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, like,
certainly,
I said to you that time when I popped, it was like,
you've said that a couple of times now. Popped.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a bit?
Pop is where you just fucking, you're stressed to the max, and all of a sudden you find yourself sitting on the floor inside and work, and you just not knowing how to get out of where you are.
Is it analogous to a breakdown?
It could be. I don't know.
It's not a breakdown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And did you, when this happened, like, was this an instant?
No, that was the thing that happened to me that time. So it was all these 400 things that built up around me, and and that's why it's sitting with me a bit more. What you just said there, I needed to delegate people to do stuff, but in my head, I had to do them all.
Yeah,
and that's probably what happened to me, because that was.
Well, you're not a delegator by trade.
No, exactly. Yeah, I have gotten better at it though, over the years.
Yeah.
Pity I couldn't get people to delegate 2 jobs around the house, but she's not going to do it.
Careful, she could listen. Careful, this is on the record. She listened in 10 years' time and fucking lifts you out of the last thing you're fucking expecting. You'll be on your 35th wedding anniversary and she'll fucking tune in.
But yeah, no. So that's interesting. Now that's going to sit with me, I think, a bit more.
Well, the other one that springs to mind then is you go from being, forgive the language here, I'm not going to phrase this very well, but you go from being kind of top dog welder to entry level management.
Yeah, of course. There's always going to be a transition anyway, but I definitely wasn't a top dog welder now.
But what I mean is,
it's
like it's like when lads finish school, like you're leaving cert, you're fucking king of the pile. You know, you're the boy in the school.
Again, no, and I know I keep going back to you. Very same as you going into your micro business.
How do you mean?
As in, you come in at a certain level, and like you had to do something to get to a certain level, so you had to work hard. So it's like me coming away from the welding, going into the management side or the quality side of things.
But that was a progression for you though. Like you're going up rungs of a ladder there.
Yeah, but it would have been the same progression for you from
not really
over the certain length of time, no?
From when I started the business.
That's what I'm saying. From
onwards, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I would have made less than a lateral move.
What were you before you actually started to grow?
Of sales and business development was my
So was that not a total, like you went from selling something to now having to make something to sell something?
Yes, but it would be equivalent to you being a welder.
Yeah.
And now you're going to grow plants for a living somehow. Like there was no progression there.
Yeah.
No straight progression at least.
Right, okay, yeah.
Like, I mean, I was leaving business development trying to do this growing thing, and if the growing thing didn't work out, I just go back to business development. That was always my safety net. And even if the business development wasn't there, I've said it from day dot, if it comes to it, I'll shovel sand into a mixer. Do you know that kind of way? Like, I can do that. Like, do you know that kind of way? So worst case scenario, I can earn a living, and that kind of frees me up. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
But with you, I think it's slightly different because you're on that ladder. So you could be working for, let's say it's Intel, directly or indirectly, doesn't matter. And you're a welder and you're, top of the pile. You mightn't be the best welder in the world, but you're a senior welder. And now all of a sudden you're kind of entry level management, coupled with the fact that you were using your hands all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're not. Like, now again, fucking bro science alert big time here, but I would imagine when a welder is welding, a certain part of his brain is on fire, basically. It's flashing and fucking, there's blood flow and there's signaling and there's everything's going on in the, want of a better term, welding section of your brain. Not that there is one, but you know what I mean. When you do different tasks, generally speaking, different parts of your brain light up in different ways. So your eyesight is at the back of your head, for example. That's where most of your vision is processed. It's in literally the back of your head. That's why in the UFC you're not allowed straight to the back of the head, because you can blind people permanently from a bad enough knock to the head. But so I would imagine that there is, it obviously isn't welding circuitry. We didn't evolve to be welders, but we evolved to do really intricate tasks, and welding would fit that description, I suppose. So that part of your brain is lighting up for years on end, and everything's going good, and then all of a sudden that part of your brain essentially turns off, and a new unused part of your brain, which is the kind of, for want of a better term, the office part of your brain, all of a sudden it's on fire, but it's only on fire recently and you don't know how to deal with it. And it could be a component of the two that had you not been able to cope. Broad sweeping generalization alert here, lads. I'm not qualified to fucking do this, and I think if I was qualified to do this, I wouldn't be doing it, because I'm projecting and I'm fucking doing all sorts of shit.
The moment you said that, because you've said that so many times in your podcast, or
said what? Sorry,
things like that. You know, where what was it you said? About
broad sweeping generalization alert.
I always wanted to see it. Now I can see it. So it's a bit surreal here as well, because for the last couple of months I've been sitting in the car or fucking up in the room doing something, and I'm listening to your podcast, and now all of a sudden I'm seeing it all. The one thing I always wanted to see was that your jingles you were making at the hey day 3.
Hi diddly dee, it's episode number 3. You enjoyed that, did you?
Oh, that was hilarious. I think it was day 6 or something. You stopped. It's like, oh, all right, okay, they're stopped.
It's funny because the way that came about was I did the very first one, so the solo season 1, episode 1, and I just started like I'd never done it before. Didn't really know what I was going to do, and I think it was Lent actually. I committed to doing a solo a day for Lent, and just because I've been thinking about it and wanting to do solos for like a year, and I never did. But then I said, "Fuck it, no! I'll do this. I'll commit to this, and then we'll see how it goes." So the first day I came on, I was like, "So okay, I want to talk about this and this and that, and you know, I'd no flow, I'd no fucking, you know, I didn't have a feel for it at all. So it was all really slow and down and kind of dour, unintentionally." And I got a text message off me little brother out in Qatar, and Aidan texted me, and he basically texted me like a kind of a concerned message. It was like, you all right, lad? Because, you know, you didn't sound it on that fucking podcast. And I was like, oh fuck, really? And he was like, no, I thought, like, I'm making sure you're all right, like. And I was like, fucking hell, I didn't realise I came across that down. So then the next episode was fucking whoop-de-dip-de-doo, it's episode number 2. That was the start of that.
Oh,
like.
it's so funny, that.
But I must try and rejig them. You see, it's
like, it is hard. Like, again, like it is random. Like, that's the best thing. Like, it's so random.
You
like,
never know what I'm going to say next to you.
Never. What was it the other day? You ended up talking about the fucking moon, and it started
Why
off.
the moon is round.
Yeah, but you started off with fucking, I don't know. Another day, then I seen, oh yeah, about the heating around the house. I'm like, what?
What shite is he on about now?
The fuck? And I was listening to the, because I remember you saying before, podcast you don't like, you skip, you know. You said that to me previously before about what you call him, the Limerick fella,
Blind Boy.
Yeah, Blind Boy. If you didn't like something, you'd move it on. You said it in the podcast one time,
right?
But I was reluctant to do that. Like, I was like, oh, plumbing, I don't really want to. I don't want to be listening about plumbing, but like, I would know a bit about plumbing, you know. But it's like, still though, listening to you, I was kind of, all right, okay. So even though I knew about it, I was going to skip it. I was like, no, I'll hold tough now and see where we go with this. And sure, about 2 minutes later, you're on about something totally different than again. For fuck's sake, it's just pure random. Like.
But that, I suppose, like, when you look back over everything that I've put out there, it's given me a great insight into my own mind.
Oh, 100%.
Do you know that kind of way? And I only said it recently. I don't know if you caught it or not, but I think that people should have their own podcast, solo or with people, or whatever way you want to do it. I think people should have a podcast like they have a Facebook page. I think it should be just ubiquitous. I think we should all have one. Whether you publish it or not now is another thing. There's value in publishing it.
Yeah.
there's a
to
huge
get it
value in
out there,
publishing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because even if no one listens,
Yeah.
do you know that kind of way? Like
Yeah.
if no one downloads it or if no one streams it, the act of putting it out there, there's a, I don't know if cathartic is the right word, but there's a bit of a release. There's like, there's an old Irish story about, was it some king who had big ears, and he used to kill all his hairdressers because the hairdressers were the only people in the land who knew he had big
ears.
donkey's ears, like, so he'd get his hair cut and then he'd kill them. And then I think one guy swore that he'd never tell another soul, and the king let him live, and he ended up telling it to a tree. And I think, to cut a long story short, a fiddle gets made out of the tree and the fiddle sings the fucking
King's
king's
got big ears.
whatever the fuck. But there's something to saying it out loud, even if it's to a tree, or you're uploading it to the internet, or you're not uploading it, more importantly that you're not, just that you're getting it out. And it's the same principle as, you've probably heard this, if there's something worrying you, or if, just the classic example is if you were fucking abused as a child or something fucking horrendous like that, and you're struggling with it, write down what happened to you and literally set it on fire. Write it down on a piece of paper and set it on fire, as a way of kind of not exercising it, but maybe exercising it a little, and just I think we're missing the theatrics of
ritual.
psychology these days, big time. That ritual, even if it was just going to mass, do you know, kind of way. Now, I'm not recommending people go to mass per se, but I think that there's great benefit in people who are very similar, or people who just live in the same area, congregating in the same place once a week.
100%.
I think we miss out on that big time, like, by not going to mass.
Yeah.
But I think massively we miss out on just the theatrical side of things. And I think as Irish people, maybe more so than others, we need that, like, especially with men, and maybe I'm only saying especially with men because I am a man, but
Oh yeah.
like, there's something easy. There's something about screaming at the telly with your mates.
Yeah.
Or, do you know, whether it's a fight or a football match or whatever, like that release, that theatrics, like I don't give a fuck who wins, really. But say that to me, with a minute to go and you're 1-0 down and you're in the box and fucking there's something to that. Like, it's important. I don't think we get half enough of it. Sorry?
It's a togetherness with other people as well. Like, it's a coming together of people of the same. It's like your county, whatever. Everybody, if your team is winning or playing, like, it's everybody's together. Everybody's the same kind of goal. You want to win today. You've all the fans. You're going to the ground. Whatever. There's a buzz and connection. Everybody's connected.
Yeah, there's a camaraderie, isn't there? I miss that now down in work, because
I can only imagine. Yeah.
I had the two lads with me. Let's say in January.
The stuff. I'd say your tea breaks are class, lad. I said there's some conversations.
There was actually, there was.
Crazy. You can make podcasts down there, for fuck's sake.
Oh, we could have just hit record for the hour
100%.
lunch, like, absolutely. But there's a camaraderie I think that we're missing, and I miss it shocking down in Castletown, because when the restaurants did open up, I wasn't busy enough to have the lads back, so I was doing all the work. Now, don't get me wrong, it was great to be at work, but it was shit being down there by yourself. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
And I wondered, did that affect you as well? So when you moved, you would have been working with the welders.
Yeah, but no, not so much. No.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't have been. No.
There wasn't. There's not crack among welders, is there not? Or like a team? Would you be on a team? I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
You're still involved with the team. Like, even though you're gone away from being hands-on with the tools, you're still within the team, because you go down, like, their work you're inspecting anyway.
Yes, I suppose.
You still had that. No, it was just the pressure. It was just the false pressure I put on myself, and just the belief that I was the only one that was experiencing this kind of thing in the whole world.
Right.
It was kind of that I put in, and I built something up that wasn't there, really. That's all, and just didn't know how to deal with it. So, as I said, that's what I've kind of done over the last few years, is learning how to deal with it. And as I've been harping on about the mindfulness, when I done that course up in UCD there for a couple of months ago, I was amazed by so much of the mindfulness thing coming into that, about leadership and management, and like, it's everywhere. It doesn't matter where we go or where we turn, like, it's everywhere. Like, it's not this hairy-fairy thing that people believed years and years ago. It's part of our society now, really, I think.
Yeah, I think it needs to be more part of our society because I still think that it's very much.
But it's like everything, though. Like it's how people see it and how people embrace it. It's like technology. We had this contactless for the cards, right? We had video Zoom, right? What was the other one? There was another one as well, but those two, right, are there for years and years, right? But people never exploited it. But what have we done during this COVID? All those have been exploited. No such thing as people meeting in the meeting room anymore. That's gone now. It's over Zoom calls, team chats. So it was always there, these kind of things, but now it's everywhere. Like, this is how people communicate now. Like, it's thing of the future. Always was meant to be, but now it's driven into people more.
Yeah.
People working at home. You can work from home, and it's a great thing. You're less commute and all that, but you're losing that contact, as you said there a while ago. So yes, 100%, no one likes goes into meetings, but it's a way for you to meet up with people. It's a social event in little ways.
Oh yeah, every meeting is a little social gathering, essentially.
Anything. It doesn't have to be a serious meeting, but it's a meeting, like, or it's contact, it's anything. So we're all now 2 meters apart, or screens between us and all that kind of stuff, and we're losing that contact.
Big time.
No, we're losing it. So imagine our kids losing all that as well.
Yeah, during their formative years, say.
Yeah, like, but I know with Orlat now, we have them out and let them play with the kids in the area. That's it, and let them there. Do you know what I mean? It's doing no harm to no one. Like, and if you make the world ease this world out, this new world or new norm world we're in at the moment a little bit on the kids, it's the main thing, really. Like, I know I'm talking about the kids really a lot, like tonight, but
sure, look, that's what fucking life is all about. Once you have kids, that's what your life is about.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like, realistically, I mean, when I'm thinking of even this podcast and what I'm planning on doing with it, a big part of that is so that I don't have to. Like, I'm at work now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking 11 and a half feet from my son who's asleep in his bed. Like, do you know that kind of way? And like, Friday was a better example, or even just today during the day, I was at work, but I went in and had my lunch and was able to play with my kids a little and have the crack or whatever else and help herself wash up after the lunchtime. And that's what, when I'm thinking about where I can take this podcast, a big part of that is, you know, how is the life of my 6-year-old, 2-year-old and wife? What's that going to be like? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a big motivator, if not the motivator, for setting up my own business. Did I want to earn 100 grand a year working in Dublin, working a 50-hour week with a 10-hour commute every week, and, you know, kick me kids out of bed in the morning and bundle them into a creche, and then when you came home in the evening, kick them into bed? Do you know that kind of way? Like, I don't want that life. Like, do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
And I think one thing that COVID has done generally is it's an accelerant. Like, as you were saying, Zoom meetings and contactless payment and all that crack. Like, that's been coming a long time, and COVID just accelerated it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Like, and it's there. It's just people never choose to use. It's a bit forced on us a bit more now, maybe so, but it's there and people are using it more now, and you're going to have that, and this social contact with people is just going to drown out a little bit. Like,
yeah. Now, hopefully COVID will be behind us, let's say this time next year, to a large degree.
But in what way, though?
Well, to the extent that we'll be able
to be
to
all allowed in pubs again.
Maybe not pubs, but Jesus, restaurants even.
I know, but like,
but I know, like, pubs were the fucking Ireland's social club.
Us, basically, like, you're 37, I'm 43. That's grand to say pubs. We only went out probably once every 4 months, if that, or 3 months or whatever. But when we were in our 18 to 24, that's your main social.
It was, but I don't look back. Like, I look back on that and enjoy it, but I don't look at it as
people's that generation of people now won't have that.
True, but no loss really.
But that's maybe for us to say. But
fuck them. No, I do get where you're coming from, but, and this is I'm forever the optimist. There'll be things that 18-year-olds will enjoy because of COVID.
Yes,
that we could only have dreamt of.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way?
There is pros and cons to everything. I do agree with you, right? But it's just it's a strange world that's going to be there for the next couple of years.
It certainly is. But my opinion on it, or my thoughts on it, and increasingly so, is it's time to start fucking getting on with it. And
100%.
that's
sure.
what built this. Do you know that kind of way? Like, fucking get on with it. And no sooner had I this built, my next idea is a 40-foot shipping container. So if you imagine this, you've got a 40-foot shipping container. On one side, you're looking at it lengthways. So you've got the full length of it there in front of you. And you've got 8 doors into it. Okay? Now you walk around the other side and you've got the other full length of it in front of you. And you have 8 doors into it. And each one of them is the door you walked into your
6
side, basically.
Yeah.
So there's 8 podcast studios. So a 40-foot container is obviously 40 foot long. If you have 8 of them, 8 of these meeting rooms, for want of a better term, that are COVID safe.
Speed podcasting, is it?
Sorry?
Speed podcasting.
No, but the idea is that you drop it on O'Connell Street or Fair Green or whatever, and you charge people for using it. So if you want to have a chat with your fucking 90-year-old granny or your asthmatic friend or whatever it is, but you can't because of COVID, you could meet here, sit down and do exactly what we're doing. What are we in now? 2 hours and 15 minutes? I've forgotten there's a fucking screen of perspex between us.
Yeah, I didn't know. I only started seeing it there.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that would be progression.
Yeah, 100%.
It'd be something. Now, it might be defunct in a year or 2 years, or whatever, but like, so be it. What idea will come from somebody who sees that in the Fair Green?
Yeah, but sure, like, if you look at it, there's certain ideas that people are coming up and just COVID and made money out of it.
Like what?
Huh? Like anybody that's gotten into the mask or getting into the... Many breweries have stopped making alcohol now and started doing the sanitizer.
Well, it's alcohol. They're still making alcohol, but I know what you mean. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, it's people
that came and went though. That was a bit of a fad, was it? I don't know if any of them are doing that anymore.
I don't know. That's the thing I was hearing, and people making their own little masks over in England and that, and just turning into millionaires over a couple of months.
Oh, fuck, fair play.
Oh, 100%. Like, that's what I'm saying. People adapt so quickly to certain things, and they're able to make money out of it. It's a good thing. And like what you're doing there, like, you're adapting to the surroundings by making something like 40-foot container. To me, you sound, what the fuck are you on about that? Are you for fucking real? Do you not realise?
Do you know what you sound like? My missus before I set up my business down in Castleberry. Microgreens, Frano, yeah? Microgreens. Tiny little plants, and you're going to sell them to restaurants, yeah? But you know what I mean, like, and you have to, in order to create something or to do something new, you have to be at least willing to be laughed at. Do you know that kind of way? Yeah. Everyone, to a man that I asked about the whole growing microgreens thing, told me not to do it. Every single fucking one of them. Every single one of them. And I was asking people who would know, at least who I thought, like people in the industry and people who were growers and buyers and, do you know that kind of way? People who had helped other startups, and I just got negativity after negativity, but nobody could tell me why.
Oh, that's the thing, yeah. Like, it's so easy to meet people tell you no. But again, though, like, you are so creative, though, like, and you don't put any roadblocks. Like, a big thing you keep saying is to get out your own way. Get out of your own way, and that's one of the hardest things, you know, because it's easy to talk yourself up or talk an idea up, but if you're putting roadblocks, 2, 3, 4, 5 roadblocks in front of it, then you're just not going to do it. But you don't do that. You get out of your own way and you drive on. It's like this 40-foot container. At some stage, there will be a roadblock that might hit you and stop you, but you don't see any roadblocks. You drive on. You're going to come up with that idea. You're going to drive on, and something may happen that it might work or it might not work. But if it doesn't work, you'll have something else that you're going to go do again. But
the way I look at that, and just in keeping with the 40-foot container idea, there's nothing stopping me from doing that. I could make that myself. Like. I mean, I can cut doors into a 40-foot container. I can whip up battens and put in perspex. It's not rocket science. But this thing's only fucking tacked together.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like,
oh no, I know. Completely agree.
I looked on YouTube and it was insulation boards. I'm after walking into a podcast room. Like for me, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, you have to think of that. Like, it's even the quirky door handles. You know, it's just little things that are just. This is unique in itself. That's why I was saying, fucking, me being the first one in here was just such a bad idea. But fucking somebody else deserved to come in here that knew stuff. But it's just you went with something. Do you know, like, you came up with this idea. You win with it.
Yes, But I've come up with a lot of other ideas that either
matter.
didn't work or that I couldn't do.
Yeah,
do
but
you know?
that's fine. But that's who you are.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
You will keep coming up with things just like that mate of mine, Mick Jardine. Like that man, I used to be driving up to work with him, and at fucking 5:30 in the morning, lad, the man is just non-stop ideas. Do you know? And it's just, he's gone over to Australia. He's got a chance to put those ideas into place, and he's just booming because of it.
Yeah.
And again, it's good to be creative, but you need to get out of your own way.
Oh, very much so,
And,
yeah.
like, yes, this took a bit longer than you thought it was going to do it.
About 2 years.
But, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, it's done now. Fucking
100%
sure, yeah.
it's done, and now it's done, and now all of a sudden, what it's like, this is prototype 1, and then it's going to be, you know, you'll advance this.
I've already designed the next
I can
one.
only imagine,
Yeah.
But this, like, anybody that comes in here now is going to be pleasantly surprised, really.
It's not what you're expecting when you open up the
No,
doors at the back of the van, is it?
Back in the dark, lad, and all of a sudden there's a fella trying timber steps, walk this way, like, and you go up into this, and you're like, what the fuck? Where am I going? But no, it's a deadly job. But again, hats off to you. Like, you do just do things, like.
Yeah, no, I am a doer.
Oh, yeah, definitely a doer.
And not everybody is. I think that's an important distinction to make.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Like, I think a lot of people kind of, they beat themselves up.
Yeah.
You know, they see me and they go, oh, look, Frano's fucking doing this and Frano's doing that. I'm such a loser. Like.
Yeah, well, I was guilty of that. I'd be like, fucking, okay, jeez, he's doing this. And it's like that time that you come on and, like, it was kind of enjoying the podcast a good bit, and then you come on then one day and you come up with about 100 things you're going to do next. And I was like, oh man, how the fuck is he going to do any of these? But, like, you'll just chip away, and you'll pick one, and you'll do one, and you'll do another, and then if that doesn't work, you'll do another, and you just keep going. And as you said, you've already designed your next.
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Even though this is the first time somebody's been in it.
No sooner was I happy enough to get somebody in here, and I was like, right, okay, I know how I'll build it properly next. That was literally the initial thought. Like.
Yeah.
But look, this'll do me grand. I'll make me mistakes in this. Do you know, kind of way? And what I'll probably do, like, the dream, I suppose, is to build the next one to a much higher standard now that I know that it actually works. Because if I went to build it at a really high standard and it didn't work...
Just make sure you use the measuring tape next time.
Fuck you and your epoxy measuring tape. Cheeky prick. There's me trying to fit something that's fucking 14 times the size of me forklift into a fucking letterbox. So and he goes, don't forget the fucking, the tape measure. Dickhead.
Oh, but it was so funny, lads. Like, you did such all the hard work, and then all this, oh, right, okay, is this going to fit? But it did fit.
Oh, no, it did fit. And it fit because I used the fucking tape measure. I didn't just guess it.
Will you stop? I'd say you press pause like you do on the podcast, went away and cut a piece off, and went back to the same place again.
Yeah, I come back and there's just dust everywhere. But that's the beauty of it too, though, because if it didn't fit, I could have just cut a bit off the bottom. But it's literally...
Yeah,
literally only made,
100%, like, it's perfect material. But again, it's material that you've made your business out of as well.
Well, this was the grow room. These panels were the grow room.
Just...
This table came out of it didn't come out of a skip. It was en route to a skip from herself's office. They did an office makeover, and as is the capitalist consumerist way, you know, everything goes into the skip and you get in new stuff. Yeah. So this was going to begging, and I took it. I'd no need for it. I actually took a couple of them. I'd need for one, but I took 3. So one is in the office and work, and this and another one were just spare. So this ended up being the chassis essentially of the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The doors are covered in the bags that the compost come in. The white stuff covering the light in the ceiling and map or softening the sound on the walls. I sow seeds on. The curtains are literally curtains out of the house, and you can see the way it's all kind of tacked together.
Yeah.
I went around like Superman, just pushing the nails in, because you know you wouldn't have to hammer into fucking.
Is that I think so?
Exactly. Yeah. And then the perspex, I had to buy that, but that was the only thing that I spent money on.
And you precisely cut it in the middle for your lighting as well.
I did. You like that little groove? Yeah.
That was actually, you've done well there now, in fairness. And in fairness, it's a credit to you what you've done. Like.
But look, I suppose the main motivating factor in me building this is to allow me to have the conversations that I'm in the middle of having with you now for 2 main reasons. One, first and foremost, I fucking enjoy it and I love it. Yeah. It's great. And I get to know people. Like, do you know kind of way? Like, I know you on a level now. Like, I've spent more time talking to you in the last fucking 2 hours, say,
than I have.
But We met up once a month for fucking, 4 or 5 years and played cards for 3 or 4 hours at a time. She wouldn't get 15 minutes of conversation out of that whole period. Like.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are the same. They meet up with their friends in the pub or whatever it is to watch the game, and it's 90 minutes of football and no conversation.
Oh, definitely not with me, there'll be no conversation.
But exactly, like. And you and anyone who takes the sport seriously, and it's only people who take the sport seriously that tend to meet up and watch these things. And if you're having a few drinks and you're staying around for the crack afterwards, it turns into a session then, and it's like, this isn't a session.
Wake up next morning, you can't remember what the fuck happened last night.
Exactly. Like, you can drive home from here.
Oh yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? But so the main motivating factor is to actually have the conversations. But two, and not to sound too up my own arse, but I think this conversation is going to be very well received, and I think most, hopefully, if not all, conversations that I have moving forward will be all the more well received because of COVID. Because we're not fucking interacting. I think people are starved of not just conversing with people, but listening to people. Like, a lot of crack in the pub is just listening to the lads slag each other.
Banter.
Do you know that kind of way? Like, not everybody can be talking all the time when you're in the pub. So a good percentage of when you're out having the crack with the lads is you just listening and just enjoying it. And I think that's what these kind of podcasts give people.
Yeah.
And like, nobody's going to listen to this to learn something about welding or learn something about fucking anything, really.
Definitely, and I said that before I came on.
But the beauty of that is
I'd say we'll just have to nearly count how many people get past minute 5, I'd say.
You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised. But again, this is the beauty of the way we do it. We do it for the sake of doing it. We don't do it for the numbers.
No.
Do you know that kind of way? Like, if 50 people listen or 100 million people listen, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be the same conversation. Do you know that kind of way? Yeah. And I'd hate to ever be under pressure about having to put out something good.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? Like,
thanks, Frano.
No.
I
obviously have no fear of putting out shit with you here.
Lad, I'm not going on your first fucking night of it, and you got me on bollocks. I don't know.
What were you worried about? Because you were saying you weren't saying you were shitting yourself, but you were saying you were.
Just fucking, like, listen to me, lad. As I said to you, I know, like, podcast. Like, if a couple of lads you and I, there's a certain topic they'll talk about, and they're really into that topic.
Some of them, yeah.
But I'm not really into. Not into really much. So it's kind of like
the fucking dog going nuts outside.
So it's just what I just didn't believe that a conversation with me would be very interesting to be listened on a podcast. That's all.
What is that though? I mean, is that
deprivation or
not deprivation or flagellation?
It's like everything, really, isn't it? Like, I enjoy listening to the podcast you have with all the boys and all that kind of stuff, and anybody that's been on it, and your own solos. But for somebody to be listening to me, I don't see it being interesting.
But the lads, like you mentioned, a couple of things that Podge had said. So you've listened to Podge's.
Well, see, it's more just inklings. As I said, yes, I've listened to different people. Oh yeah, 100%.
But specifically, you've listened to Podge.
Yeah.
Did you listen to Patter?
Yeah.
Patter or Podge didn't come on and talk about the thing that they knew about.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know that kind of way?
But I suppose I found it interesting I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But that's the thing. But again, it's getting back to you telling your girlfriend, look, you're grand, you missed that shot, whatever, you'll be grand the next time, don't worry about it, you're a great lad. But you don't say that to yourself. Yeah. And it's essentially the same thing, is it?
And again, as I said, there's so many things, and I hear you say it, it's like, oh, they sit deeper with you. It's funny, like, that's what I'm saying. The solos, really, there's little pockets of things that you'd say or do, and just, it's like even tonight now, where you said about me going from being hands-on to that could have caused what happened to me.
Yeah, or been an element of it at least.
Do you know, like, I'll sit with that now for a couple of days and just ponder that. But that process there, even in itself, is going to help me. Like,
yes,
do you know, it's like just little things like that. They just lift things within you then as well, because it just makes you more normal. It's like when you said stuff, or you were talking about things there when I started first listening to you. And it just, it was not even listening to you. It was more the cards nights, we were chatting, walking back that time. Just things that you said, and you sent on about that imposter syndrome. And there was another guy in from TED. I'd have to nearly go back over the WhatsApp groups to find it, but or not group because you're not in the group, solo. So I'll have to go back over that and check that. But it's just little things like that, and it's kind of like you started off a little way. I started to rethink things just because of a conversation, and it's just these podcasts again. Like I never done podcasts before I met you and the Cards. But it was Joe Rogan, all this talk, you know, and then I listened to one or two of them, you know, but again, it didn't sit with me. I didn't really enjoy podcasts. Your music, alright, definitely changed the way I listen to music. But I then went from that into the audiobooks then, like I got really into the audiobooks and as well, and that was my way of just taking different bits and pieces. But again, through listening to conversations with you, it'd be different views, you know, the way like different people. It's nice to meet different people.
It is
Again,
very much so.
We say that about the togetherness and the social thing, like, and it is a great thing because especially if you're surrounded, and at this moment in time as well, people are surrounded maybe by a lot of negativity and all that. It must be very hard. But when you meet new people, like, and again, even like yourselves there and the boys, I don't meet them as much anymore, but whenever you meet up, like, it's just a buzz.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the views. Everybody's got a different view, and it's so good, you know. Like, you wouldn't say that everyone, that group of lads that we meet up on the Cards, have all the same views, staunch views and stuff. They're all different bits and pieces.
Oh yeah, we're a mixed bag.
We are like a mixed bag. Like, to be quite honest, when I was the first guy, I think there was 13 of us there the first night I was in there. Like, it's fucking mental. Especially when fucking what came on. Remember we used to do that Speed Switch, and the fucking jukebox over, and the flashing lights and everything. Remember that was my first night, and there was 13. It was just mental inside her. Like, so again, just those bunch of lads, and because of that game of cards, that Block said to me one day, and so like myself and Block were in the swimming pool. I was in there with the daughter, and he came in with his eldest daughter, and just pure randomly met inside in the swimming pool. And he's, oh, do you know what? You should come up one night and play a game of cards with a bunch of lads. And I was like, so what? Are you playing for money? No. What, Texas Hold'em? No. Poker? No. 45? No. Switch? Oh, never heard of it. Do you know? And that was just a massive game changer for me, because I was playing soccer for Navan Cosmos for years. So I went from having a group, and then when the soccer stopped, I kind of drifted away. So I had no kind of, I knew a few lads and all that, but never attachment to go back into the town again, kind of thing.
Yeah, you don't anchor.
No,
basically.
exactly, yeah. And
was that around the time that you had all the problems at work, or not problems at work, but you popped, as you put it? Was that in and around the same year, or?
It would have been after.
Okay.
It would have been.
No, because the only reason that I ask is if it was that year, that would have played into the whole thing.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have been far off. No. It would have been a couple of years after.
Right, okay.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't have been that direct link.
Yeah.
But
you can see why I thought if it, it was around the same time.
Look, to be quite honest, there was probably shit going on down home as well with the sister that, as the bossman that was over me at that time. He said to me, Archie, he says, what's wrong? And I says, yada, it's not work. And he's like, it is work. I said, no, it's not work. It's something. It's out. It's not in work. He says, you're well able to cope. It's outside work. You know, and that's the other factor of things as well, like, you know, that there is stuff going on around you that you don't actually realise is going around in your head as well. But for me, though, when I look back, it was all the building up of all the workload around me that I shouldn't have built up around me, really.
Yeah. But you've learned from it, and you've grown from it.
Oh, 100% I've grown from it. And that's what I'm saying, like, you need to grow from it, like, and I have. Look, I've made changes in my life. I've made changes the way I think. But do I get right back into it? Yeah. Do I have shit days? Yeah. It's no different than anybody else, but I am managing myself better. It's not as if it's a daily or an every hour or whatever it is. It isn't anything like that. It's just progressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Step by step, the rest of your life kind of thing. Like.
Yeah, and that's it, exactly. And you get stronger. As you said, if the kids can learn off that a little bit in as well, they'd be flying it.
Well, they will. I mean, they
will. Yeah.
The kids, like, if you're 5 or 10% less stressed, your kids are going to grow up in a household that's 5 to 10% less stressful.
Yeah.
If at a minimum, like, do you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, you mentioned a couple of times there about the benefit of just meeting new people and talking about different things and new music and new topics and whatever it is. And it reminded me of that idea that people will always say that travel broadens your mind, but you could expand the meaning of the word travel here. Like you can travel by you don't have to leave your fucking country to travel. Do you know that kind of way? Like you can travel by speaking to people who, you know, are from a different country than you, or that are into different music to you, or maybe they're gay, or maybe they're fucking whatever. Like they're just different. Like there's a travel of the mind. You don't have to physically fucking go anywhere. Like, and that kind of travel will also broaden the mind. Like the more people that you can talk to and meet. And again, that's the beauty of this. Like I wouldn't have met. Like obviously I know you, but I wouldn't have met Ivor if it wasn't for the podcast. I wouldn't have met Anthony Murphy if it wasn't for the podcast. And the people that are listening would never have heard you, or would never have heard someone like you maybe. Like some people will tune into this and they'll be just going, at the end of it, they'll just go, why the fuck did they get that fucking E on? That was shit. Worst podcast ever. But some other cunt will listen to it 4 times because you'll have blown their fucking mind. And it could be just because they're in a particular place, or a particular version of them were listening at the time. And it's just a matter of there's a timing issue. So all the things that you're learning now about the big bad world, odds are your fucking mother and father told all that shit to you when you were fucking 8 or whatever age, but you either didn't know or didn't care. It didn't sink in with you. Do you know that kind of way?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I'm definitely not of the belief that fucking I'm the only way to think. Like as I said, when I was up playing the cards, there was stuff I was saying to you that time, and you were like, "Oh yeah, sure, that's I know that kind of thing." You know, and I was telling you about stuff I was into, and you were kind of ahead of the game for me that time. Like you're on, "Oh yeah, I want you to look at that thing about the procrastination, or the imposter."
Imposter syndrome.
Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like I was telling you about stuff and you were like miles ahead of where I was at that stage, you know, and I was kind of trying to grasp onto little things from you that time.
But that's the beauty of kind of meeting people, because like whereas I might be
ahead of you.
Exactly, but
like
always
always.
And I might be 100 miles ahead of you in something, but you'll be fucking ahead of me in something else.
Like it's like on computers there'll be some people, "Oh, how did you do that?" And you'd be like, I learned it off somebody else. But like I would be going to somebody and say, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" Do you know what I mean? Like, so we'll all have like it's just computers supposed to be the big thing, like Excel or anything like that. You know, that's one of the biggest tools you'll ever use. But somebody using that Excel, like, is just, there's some people that are just wizards on it. Do you know what I mean? I know a certain level of it, and there's other people there, and it's just what level you come in at something. It's like the way you do stuff. Like people will be saying, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" You know. To you, it's kind of relatively simple because you've been doing it a while, but they think, "Oh my God, he's class." But you've got somebody, I've got somebody, then, "Oh my God, he's class." We've all got somebody that is a class above us, you know. We all know somebody that is an expert at certain things, you know.
Oh, without doubt, and with a bit of luck.
Yeah.
Because what's that saying? If you're the smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Well, that's actually cool. Yeah.
What are you going to learn from people that don't know as much as you?
Yeah.
Like, and that's again another beauty of this podcast is it gives me the opportunity to reach out to people who are experts, and or should I say will give me the opportunity to reach out to people who are experts in different things. Like I'd love to speak to somebody about language. I'd love to speak to like a professor of linguistics or something, because the root of the words that we use, and even the root of the way we use English in an Irish context, like we'll say things like, "You'll ask me, you know, how are you?" And I'll say, "I'm not too bad." But not and too and bad are 3 negative words that we use to explain how good we're feeling. Right? You know, that kind of way. And that has an impact on us. Like it's mad how
the words we put out.
In, I believe in Japan, they have the lowest consumption of antidepressants in the world. There isn't a word for depression in the Japanese language. Wow. So there's just a real straight example of how your language will affect both you and, by default, your wider society. Like, but I love learning all about all that kind of stuff, because it gives you. And again, somebody might tell you 1,000 things about language, but you'll pick the one. Like I remember I did Latin in first year in Pats, and I can remember 4 or 5 words, but one of them was agricola. It's the word for farmer, and it's obviously agricola, agriculture. Do you know, that kind of way? But whatever it was about the mood I was in that day, or whatever version of Frano was sitting in that chair, it just clicked with me. Like the other one was the root word for attraction. Okay, so if you're attracted to something, it's the same root word for the word tractor in a field, because a tractor in a field pulls things, it draws things towards it, and attraction, you are drawn to something. Do you know that kind of way? So those kind of things, they just clicked with me, and I love them, and they become part of you then, and you use that as a foundation to learn more and more and more. And it's the exact same with like mindfulness or anything. These little gems, these little nuggets kind of sink in, and it gives you solid ground to stand on.
Yeah.
And you can kind of make your way from there, if any of that makes sense.
Yeah,
like.
it does.
But Archibald,
Yeah.
me old pal, we're coming up in nearly 3 hours, brother.
Fair play, lad. Can't
It's
believe we
been-
got that long.
It's been an absolute pleasure, brother.
No, it's been good. No, I have to say, and apologies to anybody that got to this length of it and thought to win for the punchline. No punchline, guys.
Archie, it's been an absolute pleasure. I usually ask people, and I'm going to ask you, have you anything you'd put out there? I should have said this to you before we started recording, but here you are, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have an email address or anything that you'd be free to share with people?
Yeah.
Or if you don't know, I can just ask people, I can just direct people to the I'm Off the Lead.
100%.
Put out your own, or...
Yeah, I'll give you my email address. I don't want me to say it here.
No, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable with it,
Yeah.
because somebody, I'm telling you now, somebody, maybe nobody,
Yeah.
but somebody, you could have just blown their
Somebody's
fucking
going to
mind.
plague me.
Someone will
All
stalk
the boys,
you.
oh yeah, exactly. I'll have all the boys over Head.
But throw out a fucking email address there if
So
you're
it's
that so inclined.
Adrian, ADRIAN.GAMMEL.77@gmail.com. Can't be easier than that.
No, 100%. Brother, it's been an absolute pleasure for
thank you,
coming on,
lad.
and hopefully you'll come on maybe again in the future at some stage.
As long as I don't hear next week, no, oh yeah, after lead has been pulled.
Due to poor ratings. Brother, it's
All
been an
the best.
absolute
Thanks,
pleasure.
lad. Fair play. Thank
Chat
you.
to you soon, man.
Thank you.